2, 1.
Let's go.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to MixTalkLive, where we discuss all things nostalgic and retro, but still very relevant to the world in which we live in today. So before we get started here, I want to introduce our panelists. We're going to have an icebreaker question for each of the panelists. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. The icebreaker question is, which of the following were your go-to product of the 90s? And the options are hairspray, hair gel like LA Looks, mousse, hair mousse, hair scrunchies, or nothing at all. So first panelist I want to welcome is the one, the only, Annie Talks.
Hello,
If you
everybody.
can introduce yourself and then answer the icebreaker, Annie.
Okay, hello, everybody. My name is AnnieTalksShow, a.k.a. Annie Talks. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch and everywhere else. Started off doing podcast and talk shows way back when, and then jumped over and did Twitch Sings for about a year until it went away, and then started doing music streams, and now I'm doing gaming. So when I say variety streamer, that's truly what I am, a variety streamer. I've been playing a lot of Valorant. Those of you who know me, you know that I play a lot of Valorant, and now my daughter is hooked onto it, so I'm happy about that. Also, I met most of you lovely folks here on Twitch Sings as well. So we've here on Annie Talk Show, we've created the Annie Talk Show, we've created the MixTalkLive show, and a new talk podcast called Girl Talk. So I'm super excited, hence the word talk, get it? So we're really, really Viper main. Yes, we're really excited. Thank you so much. Okay, so the question. Repeat the question one more time, please.
Okay,
Johnny.
the icebreaker question is which of the following were your go-to product of the 90s? It's either hairspray, hair gel, mousse, hair scrunchies, or nothing at all.
Man, man, a man, a man, a man, a man. Okay, so I actually had a perm. I had a perm way back when. So I want to say it's twofold, both a hair gel and hairspray to keep the crunch.
Ah.
Yes, so that was my go-to. Yay!
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for asking.
Next panelist I want to introduce is Rizaline Beatrice. Hi, Riz. If you could tell a little bit
Hi.
about yourself and answer the icebreaker question.
Sure. Hi everyone. My name is Rizaline Beatrice, or Rizaline B, or Rizaline, or Riz, or I'm just kidding. Okay. I have a theory that like part of the reason why soda from fast food places tastes better is because of the cup that it's in. So I'm just putting that out there. 90s go-to accessory. So I was born in the early 90s, so the 90s for me was elementary school. And I didn't really use anything in my hair. So I had the little China bangs kid cut. No one really put anything in my hair. So that is my answer.
And I'm
Okay.
sticking to it.
She's sticking to it. There we go.
Yeah, nothing was sticking to my hair.
Well, I think pretty much everyone used, except for the scrunchies. Probably we all have used some of them, but there's always that one go-to product. Like you have to have it. You have to have it. Like that's the one you got to have. Next panelist, Wifeylovesnerd. How you doing, Wifey? Please introduce yourself, and if you can answer the icebreaker question.
I'm muted.
Oh, unmute.
I'm sorry, I was muted the whole time. Hey guys, it's me, Wifeylovesnerd, aka Wifey. I am not really a gamer, but I've kind of been lately enjoying gaming with everybody. But for daily life, I am a DIY crafter person, I guess. I am also a baker. I've done lots of baking over maybe like 10 plus years. I'm a mom of 2 boys, and I'm pretty much a stay-at-home mom, so cooking, cleaning, that sort of thing. But I am always doing something crafty. If I can get my hands on it, I'm usually doing it. So the icebreaker question, let's see. In middle school, I want to say, so that's like 90s or so, I always had this weird hairstyle where I would like part down the middle and like do this like thing and then like tie it behind the back. I don't know if you remember that. And I had to have the hair gel, like that LA like hair gel, like staple. Like that was I had to have it because with that, like I could like put it really nice and slick and like use those like thick brushes to like comb it real good. And like it had to be like perfectly slick and then like put the little like rubber band in the back or whatever, and then put the hair in the front. But that was my go-to, like hairspray too, but mainly gel. Like I had to have that LA looks like gel. Like that was my favorite.
Did you do the half up, half down hair, or like all in one like slick ponytail, or like
With that hairstyle you're talking about?
with like the braid pigtails?
Not really. I think it was just my hair straight, like my hair down, but it was with that like, like line in the middle of your head, and then it was like the slick hair, and then you bring those 2 pieces and tie it behind but underneath the hair.
I know that hairstyle. Yeah.
That was very popular in high school. Oh, and not even middle school. Like I wore it a lot in middle school and high school too, I think. But I think it kind of phased out like sophomore, maybe junior year. Like it wasn't a thing anymore. But definitely gel. That was my go-to.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Wifey. Thank you, panelists. As far as me, I used pretty much all those.
Scrunchies.
Yeah, scrunchies is my go-to. Purple scrunchies.
Yeah,
No,
we knew it. We knew it with that mullet of yours. Yeah.
I have to agree with wifey. Ellie Looks hair gel, definitely my '90s go-to.
Spike it up.
You know, and I used I used hairspray before mousse, but the hair gel they have different. It's pretty cool because they have different versions of the gel depending how hard you want it to hold, and you can make it like your hair like wire, but it washes out pretty easily compared to some other
Right.
types of hair.
Ooh, and you
treatments.
couldn't brush it. If you did it and then you brushed it,
Oh yeah.
and you got like all those white flakes.
Yeah.
True.
You
Yeah.
couldn't brush it. Once you had it on there, you had it on there. Like you can't touch it.
Mhm. True that.
Okay.
True that.
Well, thank you,
Maybe break your
panelists,
comb.
for being
Uh-huh.
here. You guys are awesome. Great to see you. Same thing with the chat. Thanks, everyone.
Wait a
Um,
minute. Wait a minute. You haven't told about us who you are. You haven't said who you are yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is
Hello?
Johnnyfrickinrico. I am a content creator, a streamer on YouTube, on Twitch, and a bunch of other new platforms too. So I like horror games. I like retro stuff. I like video games. I like technology. What don't I like? I like people.
Yay.
I like wonderful
do?
people
I don't
like
like
all of
people.
you.
Checks in the mail, Johnny.
Checks in the mail. The check is in the mail. Okay, so
Checks
moving
in the
on. In case you haven't seen it, today's topic is fashion, or more specifically, retro fashions. So,
Yay.
fashions have been around forever. Fashions through the decades can influence generations of people. We see it everywhere in films, TV shows, music videos, commercials, and it becomes a part of our culture, and it defines an entire time period. Some fashions go out of style, some come back with vengeance. Whether it is the bell-bottom jeans, long collar tie-dye t-shirts of the 70s, or the 80s, which was filled with colorful patterns and bright, vibrant colors to match the big hairstyles. The 90s introduced the saggy khaki pants, the polo shirts, and the swatch watch, as well as the Air Jordans. Who can forget the Air Jordans, right?
Right. True.
Whether it be a hairstyle, clothes, shoes, or accessories, fashion speaks volumes to the masses, and it defines the times and the people of that era.
Wow.
Wow.
So our
well
topic
said.
today, retro fashion, retro fashions. We have put together, it's like a slideshow collage of different things we're going to discuss. So I'm going to go ahead and show the collage and just get a reaction. And the same thing with chat. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Let's go ahead and get
Okay.
started.
Ooh, can I ask a question, everybody?
Yes.
So because we've all of us have kind of grown up in different times. Like,
Yeah.
what's the decade that you would claim for your fashion heyday?
The 90s for me, I would say. The 90s.
Nice.
I mean, 80s, not really. I mean, yeah, the 80s, but I didn't really get into caring about fashion until maybe the 90s, I would say. That's what
Yeah.
you take it seriously. Because as you get older, it becomes important. So when you're like a young kid in the 80s, you could, you don't care. You just throw on whatever and you go play, It's like,
True. How about you guys?
Well, okay, so of the decades, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Just
Um,
there's a certain decade that you kind of gravitate to the most. In terms
Well,
of
for me,
style.
I would say it would have to be the 80s, because the 80s is when, we kind of had like a sisterhood with my squad in high school. We were called the Banner Girls, or the Banner Girls. We were not cheerleaders, not necessarily song leaders or drill team, but we were like in between cheerleaders and the dance team. We were the dance team, basically. So we were kind of the trendsetters, and we remember the time when, and we'll probably talk about this too, but remember when we used to have the bags that were like multicolored but kind of mesh clear, kind of, right? And you would put like things in it. So these were the days back in the day when you would see through things in your purse, so that I don't know. Anyway, so and we were just kind of the trendsetters for that. So I kind of
Wow.
gravitated a lot towards the 80s, towards the mid 80s, late 80s, and into the early 90s. So that's kind of if I were to pick a decade, I would say mid 80s to mid 90s is kind of the right in that would be my 10-year span basically. So that would to me was my favorite.
Wifey, how about you?
I want to say 90s because 80s I was still little. I was born in 83. So I think more I gravitate more towards the 90s because it reminds me of school and kind of the same thing, a lot of the fashion and stuff was more middle school, high school. Elementary, it's like your parents dress you, so it didn't really matter what you wore. But yeah, I think I gravitate more towards the 90s. That's more my jam, and the music and the artists and all that, from the 90s. So that's what I remember most. I mean, there were some in the 80s that you hear now, and like some of the stuff that my parents used to listen to or whatnot. But personally, me, like stuff that I listen to, was more in the 90s. So yeah, I gravitate more towards the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, it's always interesting because, like, I guess because while Johnny's pulling up our photo collages, because I'm the one that put them together. Like, I was trying to, I was born in the early '90s, so I had to kind of like try to fact check because they all kind of like blend into each other, like the '80s into the '90s,
Mm-hmm.
'90s into the 2000s. So, yeah. So disclaimer, like, sorry if it's not accurate because I tried to like do like chronological order, but
Well,
yeah.
a lot of it though, Rich, you got to understand, a lot of it's subjective, Just because a fashion goes out of style doesn't mean that people just stop dressing that way or feel comfortable dressing that way. Look at Annie. Look at Annie.
Yeah, she got her hair did just for this episode.
Exactly. And
That perm took her all day, everyone. All day
Took
long.
so much hairspray that it don't move.
Exactly. It's and then it took to on Johnny's point is not only is it subjective, it's also experience, right? So what we remember around that time, that era, so to speak. So yeah, so it's always going to be. There's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of blending of the trends, and a lot of segue of the trends, from one to another. So yeah, it's all experience and segue and subjective. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see these. I can't remember some of the ones that we initially pulled up, so it's going to be fun to look through these
extensive research.
Yes.
Scoured. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this. I'm excited too.
Yeah, really, DJ? Oh no.
DJ says he used to know a dude that dressed like the 50s Grease style his whole life. I mean, that's an aesthetic.
Oh, that
okay, what do we have here?
Okay. All right, where are we watching? Where are we watching? Are we watching
on the stream?
Okay.
Yeah, watch on the stream. There's a little delay, so I'll give you a couple seconds to.
Okay, no problem.
So we're seeing tons of overalls.
Yep.
We're seeing Ray-Bans, leg warmers.
So I gotta say, the first picture, the shoulder pads. That was really a thing. That was like an '80s thing, like the powerful shoulder pads. Like those are like bigger than football players were. Some as far as mass, not
right
not for function, but just.
I remember cutting them out of my mom's like jackets. Like, what is this padding crap? Take this off. What you need pads on your shoulders for? I used to cut them out.
It's like why
what was the point? What was the point?
You could actually.
I mean, it's just a fashion thing, I guess. But
on the shoulder pads, you could actually go in there and rip them out, but then it all hangs like.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you got a saggy shirt or blouse.
Is it kind of like women are in the business world more, so like they wanted to kind of like match the masculine.
Yeah, it's to give this presence. It's to give a presence of power, I think.
Sure.
And it all starts, from the runway shows, stuff like that. To like, look, you can walk amongst the elite, in these clothes,
So and then To your point though, Rizaline, yes, I think I think that's when kind of the women executives or women in more managerial positions were starting to be more prominent, so or take center stage. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. But I have to say that us Filipinos, right? Us women used to wear the fancier
Yeah.
dresses with the puffed up shoulders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hey, I have to like give a little bit of pat on the back for us women trenders, Filipino women trenders when they were creating it. So yeah, awesome. Hey, Illusions, nice to see you. Yeah, so I think good point. I think it was, the one thing about history, or the one thing about trends and music and fashion and anything retro, it kind of, inks history. So it kind of documents what was coming about at that
Mhm.
time, not only the trends, but also the types of industries that were coming through, like you said. So I think women were becoming more, um, in power positions. So definitely a good mark on history.
The fourth picture there with that hairstyle where it's kind of like the hair's all put up and it's like a stick and then the hair poofs out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Have any of you gone with that kind of look where it's pointing out?
Yeah,
It's
I
a
was
little
gonna ask.
excessive.
That's a very wow. That's
It's
cool.
excessive.
You pull that look
Wait,
off,
that's
right?
very wow.
That's very wow.
That's
That's
very
very
wow.
wow.
I feel like I'd be hitting people with it on accident or something.
It reminds me of that movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, and it has Grace Jones, and she has that hairstyle, and she would like snap her head and hit people with her hair.
I love
'Cause
it.
she's just such a jerk of a model, you know.
Yeah, I was
Looking
gonna
at-
ask if anyone. Oh, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask if anyone like ever dressed like any of this.
The overalls for sure.
I've
Yes.
never had overalls. That's why I was kind of just surprised to hear like Annie
I want
and some of you talking
Yeah, I
about
wore
having a pair of
overalls.
overalls. I think I dated someone that had overalls on. That was like her
Well,
go-to
Yeah,
thing.
I've
I
had
don't know.
overalls. I've had overalls, but they weren't like my favorite thing to wear. Definitely the leg warmers. I have.
You
to
know what
say,
I didn't
for sure.
understand is my mom would dress me in those little overalls, but then she would put a belt. Like they're already hung
Like
up
on the
here.
waist?
Like
Yeah.
how's it gonna fall?
Just
Yeah.
in case,
Like they're
just in
already
case,
pushed
Annie.
up here.
Just
So
in
why are
case,
you gonna put a
wifey.
belt? Like I don't get it. Like I guess it was just a style thing. But I said like, Mom, why do you put a belt on with a overalls? You know, like it's just weird. But
Well, if you look at
or like
the Fresh Prince
you would
has
wear one
belts and
strap.
overalls, right?
Yeah, you would wear like
Yeah,
the
I
one
did
strap
that
like that and have it the other piece like hanging down. And then like the belt thing. Like I don't know, that's just weird.
It doesn't make sense to
I
me.
don't know. I always
Yeah.
felt like I got the knockoff brands, and the ones that I had, I didn't like want to flaunt. At the time, I was like, no, these are like really lame. So I wore them once, and I will never wear them again. After that, so I was like, no.
I probably looked like the Mary Kay and Ashley.
Right. That's what I remember too.
I had like Winnie the Pooh overalls. I don't remember where they were from, but I remember they were Winnie the Pooh. They're
Oh
pretty
my
dope.
gosh.
That's so
The high
funny.
pony with the overalls.
With a little
For
bow.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the pony offset, right? Offside to the side. That was made popular even earlier than the 80s, you guys. That was made popular like in the 70s by you know who used to wear that hairstyle really well and she got away with it was Chrissy from Three's Company. Remember how she would wear
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
different
that's the
types
late
of
70s. Yep.
ponytails and different oh my
Chrissy,
god. It was like
Christmas
yeah.
snow. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. So yeah, that was really, really popular back then, and not so. Me personally, I don't think I saw much in the 80s. So I don't know.
I was not
I do
alive.
have to say, Ray-Ban sunglasses were like the ish back
For
in the
real.
late
They're
80s,
timeless.
early 90s. Like, if
Yeah.
you had Ray-Bans, you were awesome. You were just like, and look how popular they were. Tom Cruise, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Jack Nicholson,
Right.
Ray-Ban choice. That just goes to show like how popular they
Right.
were.
And that's the
Ray-Bans.
like default style. Like in my job, we've ordered sunglasses that have like the logo of our company, and then they look like Ray-Bans. So it's a very like universal style.
Everyone wants to look. They were expensive. I mean, I think even back in the 80s, they would cost you $80 to $100 for a decent new pair.
But
Back then.
But what about
So-
inflation?
Oh, that's like about $250, $300 today. You know,
Wow.
$80 back then it was like $250 easily. So they were like a premium product. I think they came in their own cases, standard, which you never have for
Yeah.
sunglasses. They had different styles, different like textures on some of them. Different colors for the actual shade itself. I mean, they were pretty impressive back then, but they were expensive, but they were like the go-to. If you had them, you were one of the cool kids, you know. I know my sister had Ray-Bans way back in the day, and it's like, those are awesome. Leg warmers. Anyone have leg warmers?
Oh, for sure. I had leg warmers all the time.
Do
I
they
used
work?
to get.
Do they
used
actually
to
work?
get- Yes, they did, and I got bullied by my neighborhood girl or girl
Aw.
gangs from whatever, where they would come to my house every single day, literally come to my house, knock on my door, ring my doorbell, just to see what I was wearing, because they always like, oh my God, let's go see what Annie's wearing today.
Oh.
And they would, that's how they would, like such bullies. They would I would open up the door, and then I would be wearing, purposely, I would wear stuff so that they would like say something, right? And
There you go.
sometimes what was really funny is sometimes I would see them like in the days to follow, like, aha, so you didn't wear them until you saw me. Hello. Yeah. So they, even though they were bullies, they did. But for sure, the leg warmers. I used to wear like all black with speckled like gold or speckled silver leg warmers. And they would always just make fun of me and just say, oh my God, she's wearing those leg warmers again.
I'm looking at those leg warmers in the picture. It makes me think of rainbow sherbet ice cream. Right? Right?
Yeah.
I wear them for dance. Like when
Minus
we
the
used to
orange
dance.
flavor.
Even with ballet, like I remember we used to wear like pink, the light pink or black leg warmers when we were done from dance or stuff like that. We wear them then.
Yep. And they were mostly designed for that, but then man, people just took it to one level or a different level by just wearing them every single day, like me, every single day for no purpose.
And
at
crazy
all.
colors,
Yeah.
neon colors and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our first one. Let's go to the next one. Are you guys ready?
Yep. I'm
Let's see it.
excited actually to go through these.
Oh, I like this one. Oh, brings back the times.
Shoes.
In what way?
Oh.
LA weird.
So let me tell you a story. So back in the 90s, I played tennis, and I had these shoes on the upper left. They're called the Nike Andre Agassi tennis shoes. They were made specifically for
Okay.
playing tennis, and those shoes were freaking awesome. Not only were they stylish, functionally, they're lightweight for the time. Great grip. It has the Nike Air inside. They just look awesome. They make you think you're better than you are. That's awesome.
You didn't use the
Awesome.
the push ones, the air ones.
But
No,
could
no,
you
no.
play? Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes, I could play, Annie. I played very good.
I'm kidding. I'm
Challenge you. Challenge you.
Challenge. Okay, I
Challenge.
actually played tennis. So awesome. Now, did those come in other colors or like multicolors or what?
That was the most popular one. They had one, I think that was yellow and like a mustard yellowish and black and
Nice.
white. So it's the exact same shoe, but just imagine yellow wherever there's that hot pink. But the hot pink was cool. I mean, come on. Look at that.
Right? I had the ones on the bottom, like the white with the pink, the LA gears.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I had those. I had
Every-
those, I want to say middle school too.
In junior high, I swear, every girl had those LA gears. Maybe not that exact one, but all of them. And they'd always lace them. They wouldn't lace it to the very top. They would do it to the tongue is there, and then like show off the
Right.
tongue. Like, look at LA gear, you know.
I remember keeping
Look
the
all
little
goofy.
the little tag that technically you're supposed to take off that said LA Gear, but you would leave them
Just
on.
in case you didn't know, they're LA gears.
But it was like a rubbery, like almost like a keychain looking thing.
Oh, true that. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? It had like a little silver chain, like a little silver
Yeah.
chain, and it was like a rubbery, like I don't know, that said LA Gear, and like you're technically supposed to take it off.
Yeah.
But like
Right.
us girls would leave them on because you wanted people to know that those were LA Gear.
Like, how could you not know, though? I mean,
I know, true, but
you
know,
just see
we
the
still did it.
laces. Back then, you see the laces, you automatically know it's LA Gear.
Wait a minute. Was that the time also when fat laces were a thing or not yet? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, not,
Not
they
yet.
they were
Oh,
around,
Like
but
shoelaces?
LA Gear
The
came
what?
with their own shoelaces that were like multicolored. So it had
Oh,
like
and
two-tone
they-
colors, and then you overlap them,
True.
and it gives that
Okay.
like multicolor effect. That's how you can
I
know.
remember them being curly. You remember them being curly, like
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
ends of the
later,
shoe?
later.
Curly-
Yeah, I
That
think
left
that
later,
was-
right?
I think that was like that was like 90s ish,
Mhm.
late 90s maybe around. I want to say. Wait, let me think. Yeah.
I don't remember. I just know I remember us having them.
No, I think they were just regular laces, but the girls would never lace it to the top. So you have like this much lace each side left, and they would make these huge bows.
Right.
You know, usually you
Wait,
tie your
not
shoelace. It's like this
Uh-huh.
huge bow. They do it like 4 times.
That's
So-
true. But not just girls. Guys wouldn't lace them either, or they would lace them to like.
I don't
you
know any
to-
guys that wear LA Gears at all. That's a girl's
Oh.
shoe.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think it was
not
a
guy's
girl's
shoe.
thing.
Yeah,
I think
that-
so. No, because I've
Yes.
seen some. Okay, maybe I've seen some guys.
No,
okay, maybe
that is-
they were.
that is.
No,
But,
I have
you know.
seen some guys. Don't tell me you haven't seen the guys from my school because I did see some. But just saying. I'm just saying.
It was more of a girl. I mean, for me anyway, was in my time it was more of a girl's thing, more of a girl's shoe.
Well, I've never seen a
Okay.
guy wear because the
Really?
styles
Okay.
is all catered to girls of that time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Styles then were very genderized, weren't they?
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
the
That
shoes
makes
they made
sense.
were there was no like middle ground on a lot of the designs back then. You know,
Right.
like the Agassi one, it has a hot pink color, but you, a girl could wear it or a boy could wear it. You know what I mean? They kind of try to thread the needle
Okay.
on the designs, but the LA Gear definitely like that's a girl's product of the late '80s, early '90s.
Right.
I just like the idea that like you convince yourself that you're gonna be a better athlete because you're wearing an athlete's shoe. You're like,
Well, if you don't
I
believe,
will
no
be-
one else will, Riz. Okay.
Jump higher
If you don't
now.
believe, no. If you don't believe, then what's the point, right? You gotta believe in
it's
something.
a placebo
Whether it be your
effect.
shoes or your abilities, it's gotta be one or the
Oh
other.
my goodness.
No, they were great shoes though. I could play already. Okay, let me just throw that out there. I was a good player. Okay.
Oh, okay. What I like about this is the middle graphic and how like I feel like this is how the children dress today.
Yeah, the flannel tees with
Little
jeans,
bit. Quite a bit.
the
like,
open collar blouse or shirt,
It is.
Mm-hmm.
the flower hat.
Really
I
trippy
think-
to see like the cycle. Like we've reached this part of the cycle of fashion that like I think the '90s, 2000s is back.
A lot of it
It's
is
kinda-
back.
I think a lot of it's just people. I've said this before, talking with my sister and other friends, but like nobody really knows what it's like to grow up in the 80s. You have an idea. You watch Stranger Things and think you know the 80s, but you don't know the 80s unless you actually gone through it. It's not the same.
Me.
Annie
Yeah.
was there.
No, I know.
I was
I'm just
there.
saying. I'm not
Yes.
putting it on you. I'm just
No,
saying
yeah.
in general. Like I watch Stranger
Sure.
Things and I critique it like crazy because I'm like, that wasn't around back then. There's no way they could have made it. That's BS. You know what I mean? Not that I don't appreciate the show or what they're trying
I
to do,
love
but
this. I
but,
love Stranger Things.
but they obviously have a young writing group that doesn't quite understand.
Yeah.
You know?
I need to
Or
bring somebody in. Hmm.
or like it's just a different version of it. So like I think most of the things on this side are like 90s. It's like that's what I
Yeah,
saw on
that's
TV, but that's
90s.
not how I looked at all. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of
Well, I think they're trying to show
Idealized.
generations, right? If you look at the top,
Mhm.
the
True.
top 3 women, that's the mom probably, and the 2 older daughters, and then maybe it's their kids to the right, It's
I
just
like
trying to
this
show the
storyline.
generations,
Right.
like how you, win it, wear it. It's trying to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
like it.
definitely like '90s fashion. Like
I like it.
on the in the middle picture, right on the very bottom, there's to the bottom right, there's that girl with a purple shirt and
Yeah.
that vest. I've seen people wear that before. That's a very
Yeah.
popular outfit. Like the vest. It's not really they make it in a vest and they make it in a coat, but like it's a very popular ensemble.
I wanna. This is my lookbook. I'm getting inspired.
One
So-
thing though that I have to say about the trends back in the 80s and 90s were they were mostly white shoes with splashes of like, other colors, black, red, pink, whatever. And it wasn't until like I think until maybe even in the late 90s, 2000s where multi or other shoe colors came out, like the blacks or
Oh,
even
okay.
like the pinks or the yellows, like the fluorescent yellows. I personally don't think I've seen them change over until maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, because they were mostly all white, as we see here, with trim colors, right? Am I right?
Yeah. So that was the style for the longest time because
Right.
you could have the same shoe and it'd have different color trim, but it's
Right.
exactly the same shoe. But maybe it's yellow and black instead of blue and green.
Right.
It's Reebok was very popular shoe back then, but they didn't have a whole lot of options on their shoes. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, it was just
Yeah.
the trim color and they're all white. So it's but that was the look of the company, and it makes sense because they have all the different sizes. If you can eliminate how many different SKUs of a certain model shoe you have, it will save you money. I have to ask Wifey. Wifey, did you have those platform shoes on the bottom right?
No, I didn't.
I thought you did. I thought you did.
I love
No,
it.
I didn't. I had like
Those are so
sandals that were platform shoes, like when the whole Spice Girls thing.
Ah,
Then that's when I, used to wear like it was more of a sandal though, not really like a sneaker or
Yeah.
like that type of shoe. But it was more of like an open-toed sandal, like the
Right.
tong sandals. But then it was like a big old platform, like that big.
I see that. I think of
I wore those.
I think of Delight. I think we were talking about this before. We're talking about.
I think
I
I like that better than like stiletto thin heels.
Right.
Oh, true that.
Yeah.
Platforms were the thing.
Well, they're a lot
My
more comfortable.
my dad even wore platform shoes. For real.
Platform. I'll
He
just
wore,
put
like,
on some
Prince
stilts.
style.
And
My dad used to wear Prince style platform shoes. I kid you not.
Nice.
I kid you not. And I remember, well, I'll end with this so we can go on to the next slide. But I remember being at a wedding, my cousin's wedding, long time ago, and my dad went out there with literally with his, polyester suit and his
Yes.
his flowered shirt and platform shoes, and he went out there and he started dancing. I was there, and he was like dancing, he was grooving, and some person came over and goes, "Dude, you guys have not dude, but oh my gosh, you guys have to go check out that man in the middle right there. He's dancing. You see his platform shoes and his and his polyester polyester suit and his platform shoes." I'm like, "Hey, that's my dad," but I didn't dare tell anybody.
Ah.
Like I didn't know him.
I don't know.
I
who
love
he is. Yeah, it was quite the thing. Yeah. My dad was super fly, y'all, down back then, for sure.
Yes. Okay. This is 2000s,
2000s. Look at that.
and I pulled up like Disney Channel, like Nickelodeon. So we got like Vanessa Hudgens, Miley Cyrus, Hilary Duff, Zendaya.
Nice.
Like that's Zendaya. That's Euphoria right there, y'all. Like
Wow, for real. Oh my
God.
gosh, she was so young there. And
I know.
Right.
wow.
Okay, and then this time is very like eclectic. Lots of weird layering. So that's why Annie, I was telling you like it was a lot of that kind of like polo shirt that you're wearing, but then with like the tank top
True.
on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Yeah,
it's so ugly.
Oh.
It's so ugly.
And like some of these patterns and colors, like I would not pair that together. Like why?
Okay, okay, yeah. What are your like style? Do you have your own personal style rules? Like you're like, I'm never gonna wear stripes. I don't like
But
polka
like I
dots.
won't wear no polka dots and stripes. I mean I'm a big girl. Big girls do not wear polka dots or stripes. Like that
Or
just doesn't
stripes
go.
for sure, not stripes.
Yeah, no. It
At
makes you
least
look
not
wider
right.
and yeah,
Not
no.
horizontal stripes,
Right.
maybe vertical.
Unless you look at the one chick in the top left, she has the jacket to kind of slim the
But she's skinny.
also,
She's
but she's
tiny.
also slim. Yeah.
Right. So that makes it a rule, like don't wear it if you're a big girl. I mean, to me anyway, I won't wear
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Polka
Agreed,
dots too.
agreed,
Like, I
agreed.
feel like I just look like I don't know, like someone's gonna connect the dots. Like I just no, I'm good with polka dots. I will never wear polka dots. I don't think I don't think I've owned anything with polka dots. Maybe stripes, but like it's like something I'd wear at home. Like no one's gonna see me, so I'm like
Okay.
whatever. But own personal style too. Like I feel like I am kind of picky, so I'm like, oh, like I won't wear, a red top and like blue shoes, or sometimes people do that. Like they'll wear like
Yep.
all blue, let's say, and then they'll wear like red shoes, or like I'm like, why? I'm like that doesn't go, that doesn't match. Like
All right,
no.
that's probably me.
Oh my
Like I'm like
God.
no, I'm like if I'm gonna wear blue, I'm either gonna match the blue, or I'm gonna do like a nude or a
Right.
black or a white maybe even. But like people do that where they'll dress like with all one solid color, and then it's like their shoes are like a completely different color, or their bag. So I don't know, that to me is kind of weird.
You mean you're talking about today, but then would you
Even
wouldn't wear-
then, like
No?
no,
Yeah? Interesting.
and I went through a phase too where
Yes.
all my shirts in my closet were plain colors. I couldn't have no patterns. I would not put flowers, nothing. Plain color. And my mom used to be like, "Why?" Like, and I wouldn't wear like certain colors either. Like, you would not catch me wearing a yellow shirt, an orange shirt. Like, it was like blues, blacks, maybe a dark purple. And it's funny because I have a younger sister, and she's kind of did the same thing where she was going through this phase where like literally all her shirts were black. And it's like, where's the rest of the colors? Like, how come you're not wearing? Now I don't care. Like, I will other colors, I'll wear purple, pink, yellow, whatever. But back then, like, I don't know, I just went through this weird phase where like everything had to be solid colors and certain colors. Like if you went to school and you were dressed with like a yellow shirt, they call you all kinds of names. Like, why are you wearing a yellow shirt? Like that, what's wrong with you? Like it's just weird. Yeah, it was like that, it was, and I remember going through those phases like that where my mom used to be like, oh, she hated shopping with me. Like, and she'd be like, what about this one? I'm like, oh, mom, don't even show me. And now she goes through that with my sister too. So it's kind of funny, like she hates shopping with her because just in that phase, the phases they go through.
So the bottom picture, right, with the three ladies on the left, mostly where they're wearing jeans and a little dress or a long shirt.
Yeah.
So I know these are what some of the early 2000s pictures ish, right? So okay, so my fashion icon way back when was, gosh, I just now literally am going to age myself, was Marie Osmond, Donnie Marie. And Marie Osmond was a huge fashion trender, or fashion trendsetter. Yeah. And she used to wear pants, polyester pants with dresses, or at least, I think she was like the creator of baby dolls, right? So way back when. And I remember trying to emulate what she was wearing a few times and going to going to school. And I was ridiculed to no end from all my classmates, particularly, the two bully girls from the neighborhood, who said, what are you wearing? What is that? A dress and pants? Who does that? Literally. And I'm like, and I would wear it for days and weeks on end, and then until I finally just said, no bullying is worth all this. So I actually stopped wearing it and started wearing just regular clothes. But now in retrospect, looking at this, it's like, See, I was on to something, God dang it. I was so mad that, that it's sad that you have to have, girls or people like that who just cannot take you, for
Probably were
what
just
you are
envious.
today. Or
They probably liked what you wore, and then just envious, just how girls are.
Well, and remember, I
And
told you a
when they're
couple times.
little.
Yeah, later I would see them wearing either whatever kind of makeup I used to wear or was wearing, or
Probably just
pink clothes. Yeah, so I'm like,
instead of
oh,
complimenting you, they bullied you instead.
yes, exactly. I hated that so much, but yeah.
I
that was the
remember
thing.
going from bell bottoms to skinny jeans, and I was like, I will never wear that. Like showing your shoes, like no, like my bell bottoms needed to cover my shoes. Like that's how big you wanted the bottom to be, And so I used to be like, ew, what are people wearing? Like leggings, like tight like that around your ankles, and like you show your entire shoe. Like what's going on? Like, and I remember like I used to think it was so ugly, and I was like, I will never ever wear that. And now I look back and I'm like, ooh, I would never wear bell bottoms.
But
Meanwhile,
that was
that
the
style's what's coming
thing.
back right now.
I know, and I noticed that. I noticed that in a couple stores. I'm like, are they seriously selling bell bottoms again? Like, what is going on?
Wait, okay, which ones were your brands? Because I used to wear like dittos, like in bell bottoms,
Man, I
or
don't
Gloria
remember.
Vanderbilt's, where she used to have like bell bottom jeans as well. Oh my gosh, what a thing!
I just remember shopping at a store called like Rave, I think it was.
Mhm.
And I used to get
There
a
a
lot of
rave
my
in the
bell
rave?
bottoms. Was it Rave? I think it was called Rave.
Was there a
They
rave
don't
in
call
the
them
rave?
bell bottoms anymore. They call them bootleg
Flares?
now.
Oh,
Bootleg.
Bootleg,
Bootleg.
right?
there's
They
like
don't
straight
call 'em.
leg
Hmm.
and then
Is them
bootleg.
bootleg straight too?
Gosh,
Yeah.
I
Well,
okay,
heck yeah.
back then I wore.
Well,
Oh gosh, what are you two?
well, the picture on the very bottom, the second
kidding.
girl there, she has bell bottoms, right? They're not
They're like
Right.
there.
right there.
Yeah.
They
They're like-
almost look like with the color. They almost look like scrubs. At the
They do.
surgery.
You're not wrong.
Oh, funny.
So I think we could agree, like the fashion that's in this collage is primarily probably in 2000s, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Mid-
Wait, okay, and then I
mid-
have to bring something else up. Okay, so the gal up at the top on the right who's wearing like a cardigan, and then the gal at the very bottom who's wearing a crop top cardigan, right?
Uh-huh.
Those are back in the 50s, guys, where
Cardigans, yeah.
moms in or 50s and 60s where moms
Yeah.
used to wear those, those half quarter sleeve half cardigans similar to that. So that already recycled a few times over there. So, think of that. It's like, so the actual trends were even earlier than that. Trendsetters were back in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
People,
to see
I think,
that.
people they go by when did this become popular in fashion? When did this become popular? But like a lot of people, you need to realize, like the polo shirt that came out in 1912. Polo shirts, you know what I mean? It's like
Research.
but it didn't become popular till maybe the 90s. But fashion kind of it sometimes comes back.
And the
know?
thing with
Yep.
this too is, again, this is like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon. It's
Yeah.
like kids. I mean, I didn't dress like this. I didn't dress like that all the time, but that's also because I went to Catholic school and wore like a uniform.
Yeah.
But like this is kind of like an extreme representation of
Yeah.
the fashion. Because I mean, most of what we're wearing every day is just like jeans and a shirt,
Yeah.
maybe a hoodie. I don't
Yoga
know.
pants.
Yoga? No, yeah, just like
Yoga pants.
leggings, like
Right.
super
Leggings, yeah.
simple. Not that many accessories. Not that many layers.
See? Okay, I have to stop you guys. See what Crazy Pac-Man wrote? See? LA Gears were not just for girls.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't know a single guy, anyone from
Except
my
Crazy
high school,
Except for Crazy
junior high, had LA Gear shoes.
Or guys wearing it either.
Let me know. Let me know.
See?
I'm just
I
saying.
remember in my high school they were.
never,
Oh,
never
snap.
seen.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
goodness. We had a debate, Crazy Pac-Man. We had said earlier, Johnny was saying that he'd never seen any guy wear LA Gears. And here you are.
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
back
Exactly.
then.
Mhm.
I'm sure. Do they even make LA Gears anymore? Or
I don't
I
think
don't think
so.
so.
I
no.
think they do.
I think they still do. Yep.
On eBay, but you
A lot of
know
these
that's from
brands still exist.
1992 or
Yeah.
something.
It's definitely not a popular shoe these days, but yeah, they still make them.
Okay. Any we want to move on? Next one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Bring it.
Bring it. Bring it. Here we go. Here we go.
Yes. Okay, so this is like part 2 of like 2000s mid to late.
Yeah.
We got
No.
we got butts. We got people's butts hanging out. But like, so the other side is like the men's or the women's kind of fashion. This is like kind of the men's fashion, and another part of it too is like this is kind of like the more urban hip hop. Oh, I sound so lame. But
That's
like,
not true though, because there's Justin Bieber in his members only jacket.
Wait, we're
Flexing.
talking about the pants. We're talking about the
but
Flexing.
pants.
yeah, no, yeah.
She's
The
talking
butts.
about
You're right.
urban-ish.
You're right. This is before Justin Bieber got like more urban. So you're right.
Yeah. That was his pre-teen.
But yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
it's still very kind of eclectic and lots of layers again. I don't know.
I remember I used to get in trouble in school because teachers used to be like, "Pull them pants up, boy."
Yeah.
This
They're
was
so
after my time
boxers.
in school, stuff like that. Even in college, I don't think I've seen anyone that.
you say-
Oh, they were like that all over high school.
It does not make them look sexy. I'm
No,
sorry.
it doesn't.
To say.
It's
It
just
doesn't
skater
get rolled
thing,
out of
though. A lot
bed.
of
It
it-
just came to school.
I know. Well, first of all, they look sloppy, right? They better have clean boxers for all I care. And second of all,
Oh, I can
it makes
imagine if they're
their-
not clean.
it
Oh
makes
my
their legs look
gosh.
short. Look at the front view. Look at the front view. Second person from the top right. Okay, they make him look short. I'm sure he must have some length on him, but then with the pants sagging down. First of all, how do you even walk? Second of all, how do you think that? You really think that makes you look sexy? Because fool, you do not look.
And then they're
sexy.
picking it up like every 2 seconds. They're
Yeah.
picking him up, picking him up, picking him up.
So
Right.
anyone
They
in
can't
chat,
take 2 steps without falling.
if anyone in chat ever dressed like the pants falling off thing, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
For
Definitely.
real.
Seriously.
I want to know. I want to know
mean,
why.
Because to me, like, if I was to dress that way, that's like a nightmare for me, because that's almost like the dream where you have no clothes and everyone's looking at you. Because stuff be falling down. You know what I mean? Right? It's already falling down. It's like, are they playing with that dream or something, or trying to get back at the I'm naked dream? I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable at all in.
Wasn't it like a rapper or someone who started that, and then
Oh
all the
my
guys
gosh,
started wearing
I'm
it?
sure.
I want to say
Yeah.
that like wasn't that kind
It's a
of
skateboarder
originated
thing,
in,
though.
like,
A lot of skateboarders, like.
in like prison, like with the jumpsuit kind of look. That's kind of.
I have
I don't
no
know.
clue.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, dang
We're
it,
not
I wish
experts here.
I wish we had a fashionista, like a true fashionista that could come, add some flavor or reasoning and flavor or, meaning to half these clothes styles. Man, in retrospect now, I'm like, I had somebody. I knew somebody that actually was a fashion studied at FITM, Fashion Institute Design and
Oh, okay.
Merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang it, I should have asked them. I was
That is
busy.
okay.
Sorry about that. I seen a few gangsta Asian guys in Boston with low pants, though. Voodoo says.
Yeah, it's very.
I would not feel comfortable wearing those at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Huh?
Some wear belts and their pants were still low, for real. I know. What's the point of wearing a belt?
Is the
Okay.
guy at the bottom? Is his jersey on backwards with the yellow hat?
Nelly? Is that Nelly?
That's Nelly, I think. Yeah.
Is,
Oh,
it,
You know
is
it
his
might be.
jersey on backwards?
It looks like
Probably.
it might be.
Like it's like all the way up here.
Probably.
It's a style. Do you remember when
Style.
Nelly had like a band-aid on his eye, like That
Over
was
his
a-
eye.
underneath his eye, and like that was, I forgot what it symbolized, like something like for like his sister or something, but that was a trend.
Well, the
That's
late
so
80s
weird.
and the early 90s, Belle Biv DeVoe, the band Belle Biv DeVoe from New Edition, they would have their pants inside out. Like you get your jeans and you flip it, and then the pockets are just on the inside instead of the outside.
Also, like crisscross. They would wear
Yeah.
they would like backwards,
cute.
like the whole outfit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Belle Biv DeVoe started that. That's like the fashion statement they were trying to make. Wearing their pants inside out, their jackets inside out, because like they, they're from Boston, the New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe. So they grew up in the cold, you know what I mean? So they always in the videos, a lot of times they have like a lot of layers of clothes on because like you want to survive in Boston, you better wear a lot of clothes, So they would make a statement out of it, I think that first picture that is Michael Bivins from Belle Biv DeVoe, the guy with the big raccoon hat.
I think
He
that's
was-
Jay-Z.
Is it?
But I think that's Jay-Z, Kanye West. Is that Chris Brown? Little Wayne.
Okay.
Little Wayne. And then 50 Cent. And then on the bottom, it's also 50 Cent, Nelly, Lil Wayne. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There are more people of that era with stuff.
But I am right about the members jacket. That's Justin Bieber, right?
Yes,
the
that
members
is-
only jacket. Did anyone in chat have a members only jacket?
Oh,
And was it
heck
everything
yeah, me.
that they said it was?
Heck yeah. Oh, yeah. I loved it. I wore it all the time. I had a black one and a gray one, but I mostly wear my black one. For girls, it was like, it wasn't as a huge trend thing as it was for guys, but girls definitely wore it. And we would always wear, back then, I wish I had a picture. We used to wear members only jackets over flare skirts.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Ah.
'Cause it's like the
Yeah.
bomber jacket, no? Like that's kind of the kind of jacket that
much.
the soldiers would wear in World War something or whatever.
Pretty much.
I don't know. We're not again. We're not.
It is. It, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had one. Like I wanted one, but I never got one.
I don't have one either.
And then by the time I could get one, it was like I moved on to something else, kind of.
All right.
But yeah, I still don't get the pants falling off look. I will never understand that. Seriously.
And that's okay.
That's okay. I'm an accepting person. It's like you do you, I do me. We'd be happy. Let's be happy.
I want to touch on this Justin Bieber picture because before he even knew it, that was like he was also a trendsetter with his hair. So we can talk about that later. But
Oh,
his hair,
yeah.
his hair.
Bieber hair.
Did you see the guys even today, or the years to come, where they would like constantly with their
Drives
hair
me
flipped?
crazy. That hair drives me crazy. That's how a lot of my kids are. They just refuse to cut their hair, and they just kind of like, I'm fine. And I'm like, no, you're not fine. You're not fine.
It's just
I can't even see. It's like
It makes me think of that cartoon Captain Caveman where he's just like hair. Was it right? You can it's like hair.
but I
And they like comb it and make it like a little swoosh, like it's okay. Now my eyes aren't obscured. It's like no, that's not cool. You're getting a
It's
haircut.
just like it's just preteen boy. Like preteen boys have to go through this like phase where their hair is in their face and like
What? Yeah.
Right.
So like they're giving you the eyes, but you can't see. Oh, you giving me the eyes? And he's like, no.
that's like my brothers were like that.
It's just drives me crazy. I don't mind their hair being long, but like it gets. Like my oldest, he would put it in a ponytail in the back with a rubber band,
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God.
That's what my brother does. Yeah.
I mean, and then like it would snap every so often because this is like too much hair. The rubber band's like, kill me.
Oh my goodness.
It's like you're gonna need a scrunchie. No rubber band. I'm like,
What's the one on the top right? Is that just just his suit, or I'm not sure the trend
Yeah.
there. Okay.
I mean the thing too is like there's a lot of timeless styles. So like Kanye West is the one in number 2. And it's kind of I mean that's kind of how people dress now, but it's like also the cut of things is different too. Like it's they pull it in some places, and like the size of the collar is different now. I mean it's I don't know, fashion
Okay.
is cyclical and subjective, objective, and yeah, I don't know. Some of it still works today, some of it doesn't.
Oh, you know what we're missing?
Yeah.
We're missing the Miami Vice look.
Oh, with the
Take it.
white. the white.
Yeah, and the blazer with a
The white blazer with the blue little V-neck
the-
shirt
Yep,
Yeah.
we're missing
and
that
the white
look.
pants to match the blazer.
The whole
And it's made out of that cheap material that, it's like
cotton.
you gotta constantly iron it,
Oh my
That
god.
super thin cotton.
Constantly iron
It
it. yeah.
breathes.
goes easily.
It needs to breathe.
Wifey, you're in Florida. Do people dress like that?
No.
Like,
It's so stereotypical when we say it, right? I mean,
They're not.
totally. I mean, people say that about Hawaiians, right? When they
true.
when you go to Hawaiians, does everybody wear grass skirts?
Buffalo.
No, no one wears grass skirts. Do we wear
Yeah.
flamingo floaties around them over there in Florida?
No, I
just
mean,
kidding.
we wear a lot of flip flops. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
That's definitely something that everybody wears here is flip flops. And sometimes it could be like winter or Christmas, and you still see people wearing flip flops. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, that's definitely a thing.
They say that about
Tank tops,
Californians,
flip flops.
too. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
For
fair.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, these are so hilarious.
okay, ready for the next one,
Yep.
girls?
I love it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, wait. This is-
So I guess we're going kind of backwards. We started with like some like 90s stuff, but this is also I think this is the last slide that's like 2000s. So compared to the first one, this is again kind of more of like the a little bit urban, a little bit hip hop, but still very eclectic. Like
Yeah.
with the weird
Like the colors look like 70s colors, but they
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
didn't dress like that in the 70s.
yeah.
But there's still little elements that is like 70s.
Yes.
The material.
Yes, it's like 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it's like the
Madonna,
material,
Madonna thing.
the style, but not the aesthetic is not, you know what I mean? It's like a
Mhm.
homage almost. Like the
Mhm.
very first picture there.
the belly button.
And it's very like because the bottom one is was that like Lil Kim. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say that's Maya, Christina Aguilera, Pink.
Mhm.
Like that's like the Lady Marmalade.
Is that the
Yeah,
Moulin,
that's what
Moulin
it is.
Rouge? Moulin
Yes.
Rouge.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's very like a lot of bare midriff,
True.
tight fitting, and like
Crop tops,
yeah.
Mhm.
which
Lots
is
of crop tops.
hit now again. So
Yes,
a lot of girls be
again,
wearing that
This
too.
is exactly this is how
Yeah.
the kids look today. Like, it's like
Here we-
That's still kind of fashionable today, but the one on the top, do you guys remember those? I remember there was a time where like ladies would wear like these like
the
what are
sweatsuit.
they called? Sweatsuits, yeah,
Yeah.
with the stripes down the line on the side of the leg. And then and even went as far as putting like words on the back of their butts. Where
Yes.
it would say like booty
Juicy.
or juicy. Yeah.
See, I don't get these ones because they didn't have sleeves, but then they had a hoodie. So like, are you warm or are you cold? Because you don't have sleeves.
Like, not gonna lie, I had one of those.
Well,
So or
Well-
a short sleeve shirt with a hoodie. Like I've never understood that. Like
Oh,
what?
wifey, it's
Your head like warm?
yeah, wifey, it's
Yeah,
science. Most of the heat in your body escapes from your head.
Okay. It
Your
just doesn't
arms
look
don't
right,
matter.
though.
Your arms don't matter.
So, it's like talking about the sweatsuits. That reminds me of like Run DMC in like the what is that?
Yeah.
80s. They all had the matching tracksuits, and then you get this kind of the feminization of tracksuit.
Right.
Sexy version, basically. Because
Yeah.
the Run DMZ
Yeah.
jumpsuits were not sexy, okay?
I know.
yeah,
They
so these are
overwore
like-
it.
But like, I
Yeah.
can see that very first picture. Like, I could see like elements from 70s,
Yeah.
colors, a little bit of style. The material, especially, that's like 70s
Velour.
material.
Velour, lots of velour, you guys. Oh snap! Yes, and then the big
headband.
waistbands. The
And then
big
the
waistbands.
JJ from Good Times hat. See the girl wearing it?
Yeah.
There you go. Dynamite, right?
Dynamite. Oh my
Dynamite.
god, that's so
then-
hilarious. Oh my gosh.
then-
Car.
So there was the urban. So we had like, I don't know, the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon. Then there's like the urban, and then I also like pulled up a collage of like the pop punk aesthetic.
Mhm.
And I will say like at that time, what I would have been in like middle school, but it's like I totally wanted to be like a rocker, punk person, and like that's what I wanted. I wanted to be that,
Mm-mm.
but did not. I did not be that.
Oh my gosh! And look at the trends on the right hand side. There's like, remember the flip? What was it? The Motorola flip phone right there. I think that's one of the very like trendy flip phones, way back when.
Having the little charms on your phone.
Oh, true
Mhm.
that.
Those little like, yeah, little charms you would hang dangle.
Razor. Oh, that's what it was. Razor. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Razor.
I saw
Those
someone say
Razor
that
phones.
because like at that time the purses were pretty small. Like I
Mhm.
think you could see like Christina Aguilera in the bottom picture. She's just holding like a small clutch, and it's like back then the phones were super tiny, so they would
Right.
fit into the tiny
True.
clutch. Whereas now the phones are
Right.
kind of big.
Like computers. Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
trendy.
2000s
Everything
was
then.
weird.
I
Oh
know.
my goodness.
And the bracelets like these.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nokia phones were great.
Kind of overlaps. I don't know.
Mhm. That's hilarious. All right.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Shoes. Oh yeah, shoes.
Oh, snap.
Shoes were a big deal in the late
Okay.
'80s, early '90s. They
Where
still
did you
That's
get
are,
fired?
That's
but
that pump
not
air
like-
one. Like I don't understand what that was supposed to do. Make you feel lighter?
Yeah,
Make
what
you
is-
bounce
It's a
better?
marketing
Like, I don't get,
gimmick, you
what
know.
was the point of it?
Well, when
Was
you
it
lose a
gimmick?
game to the other team, you're like, I need more air. I need it. Pump, pump,
Pump it
pump.
up.
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. People are doing that shit. So I want to say, like, these shoes definitely, like, they remind me of a certain time. Like the very first picture there, Vision Streetwear. That was like a really popular skater brand shoes from
Oh,
The one
the
that
late
looks like a duck?
80s, early 90s. Those are skater shoes. A lot of skateboarders would wear them, and they had really cool styles because they had a really, really interesting design on the outside, but the soles of the shoe actually had these intricate designs and colors on the actual sole, and it was really interesting. Like, and then Reebok had the pump, and then that third picture, those are Doc Marten shoes. They became very popular in the 90s, like
I've never owned a Doc Marten.
all the way
pair of
to
Doc
the
Martens.
late 90s.
Saddle shoes. Saddle shoes were
The
mostly
80s?
popular in, well, I can't say they were, no, they were not
80s?
technically a trend in the 80s. They were during
70s, right?
novelties. During novelties, like when we had 50s nights or when we had, dress
That's
up
the one
days
in
for things. Yeah.
the middle right.
Yes.
Right.
That's like what my mom wore. Like she wore that to school.
Yeah,
Nice.
those are called saddle shoes.
Is that what they're called? Okay,
Yeah, saddle shoes.
I just call them
Like-
the preppy. The
They
preppy.
remind me of bowling shoes.
They do.
Yeah,
like,
they're like stylish bowling shoes that are new,
Ooh, oh
that
my
don't smell
God,
like
true that.
everyone's feet.
And what's
That's what it
missing
looks
here
like,
is,
though.
like the chucks.
But you know, I remember in like junior high in the '80s, a lot of girls would wear those just very standard white, like nurse shoes. I call them. You know, they're cloth material. They're just all white.
Keds?
They always have a crease
Yeah,
where they
like
bend
Keds.
their
Kinda like
foot.
Keds.
Keds.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
thinner, even
Keds.
thinner than Keds. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Keds always like the thicker sole, thicker rubber soles. But
I always
the
call them like
ones that-
beach shoes.
I
'cause
can't
they're
remember what
just-
we called them. We also had China dolls. Did anybody wear China dolls? Or like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
that
the
was
like the one that looks like a Mary Jane, or the one that's
like
like
karate
a
shoes.
sneaker that has like net on it.
Oh
It had,
yeah,
like
yeah,
one little strap. Did it have one little strap?
Yeah.
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 That was in the 2000s also, in the 2010s. But they were like cheapy. Like you buy that from like the cheapy store, and they like break.
Exactly.
And you don't wear them
Payless.
with socks, so then it would
T-shirt
get really
shop.
Get them at Payless.
I used to get them from the little T-shirt shops because they would always have them there, like in your size. And they would always have like the most oddest sizes. Do you have a 5, 5.5? I have a 4.5. I'm like, you have a 4.5? Yeah. It was,
Chinese slippers.
yeah.
You guys
That's
got your
funny.
shoes from Payless?
I did. Oh
I
my
did.
god, I was not
Yeah.
shy to tell people I went to Payless.
I didn't
My
really
mom would be
care
like-
about my shoes, like the ones I had, until maybe the middle of junior high, when some kids would like make fun of me and like talk shit, and it's like messed up. Kids are like, kids, like, I think that's why, like, I know my generation of people, we don't care what people say or think. You know what I mean? Like, we have very strong skins, I guess. Like my generation, we don't, if you don't like something, you just don't listen to it, or you don't try to cancel people out, stuff like that. It's like, just move on, because
Right.
kids are cruel in our generation. I don't think younger generations know how cruel young people can be, growing up. And for what? Because of jealousy, because they just want to feel better about themselves. So like,
Right.
True.
even my kids, they're like, oh, but this is going on. It's like, you know what? Just get over it. You know what? I try to teach my kids to be strong inside. You know what I mean? Because you're always gonna run into these type of people. Doesn't matter. Even as an adult, you're gonna run into these type of people. You need to be equipped to handle and to a lot of times they want to get a reaction out of you. You don't give it to them. Straight up.
On Monday morning, you go to your boss, like, get over it.
Get over it.
I'm
yeah.
over it.
So y'all didn't know that this podcast is part therapy session, huh? True that.
Let me get on the
Right.
Oh my
couch.
goodness. Yeah.
But speaking of Payless, like my mom used to be like, "Oh no, we're going this weekend because it's BOGO. So I'm gonna get one and you're gonna get one."
Especially like,
But-
was
Oh
it,
my god.
Like
it's
I,
like me and then like my brothers, like we had to maximize the. She'd like throw in shoes for herself. So
Yeah, exactly. She'd be like, "We're going because I'm gonna get one for myself, and then you're gonna get one for you." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
I would bring all 4 of my kids, you guys, because we would get BOGO. Oh, it was the best.
Go.
It was
What were you
the
gonna say,
best.
Johnny?
What's that?
no, like I was saying though, I didn't really care about my shoes until maybe
Middle school.
yeah, until junior high, maybe 8th grade, maybe 7th grade.
That's about right.
Like I didn't care. But my sister did. She's like, I have to have Reeboks. I must have Reeboks. And I didn't understand, why would you spend so much money on shoes? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Seriously.
You bringing that up?
Yeah,
like,
they're
reminds-
leather. They look fancy. But then, when I started getting into sports, I'm like, yeah, shoes are
Yeah.
important.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
think-
yes.
Not just aesthetically, functionally. Like you can't go play basketball, like varsity or JV basketball wearing dress shoes. You just can't. You know what I mean?
I needed that pump of air.
Yeah, you need tennis shoes. You need basketball shoes. You need to have them.
Okay, you talking about that, Johnny, just like brings back my own flashbacks. Of therapy. But, like,
Aw.
I do remember like middle school, like it's true. Like I would get all the shoes from Payless, and what Payless would do, right, is that they would get their designs were similar to
Like the more expensive stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Like they
Right.
had ones
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Nike Air Forces, or like I think Payless had like the Shaq shoes, like
Sure.
Shaquille
Yep.
O'Neal.
The
Or
knockoff.
they had
Yep.
shoes that looked like Chucks or shoes that looked like Vans. Like I remember it was like 6th grade and I was like a cheerleader, and like I think they wanted us to have certain kind of shoes, but they couldn't enforce it. But like the one girl had like I think it's like Fat Farm shoes. And I thought they were so cool, but like we didn't go to the mall to get shoes, so like I had like the Payless like booty version. I'm gonna rock these like Payless booty.
Yeah.
Like
I used to have something called, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, it might be a Spanish thing, but chucha shoes. You ever heard of chucha shoes? It was a singer and she had this like shoe, sandals, and I wanted them so bad, but they were like expensive and there were not very many out there. Whenever they did bring them out the stores, they'd be like gone. And so Payless all of a sudden brought some out that looked like them. And so I was like, hey, I don't care. It looks like them, so I want them. They were like the jelly clear sandal with like glitter.
Okay.
We called them chucha shoes because the singer Chucha was the one who had those.
oh,
jelly clear sandals or
Right.
whatever. And like I said, Payless came out with some, and they weren't those, but they were similar. So I was like, I was happy with those. I'm like, I don't care,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There came a time where my kids got kind of tired of the BOGOs because the BOGOs were always like these, multicolor shoes and Velcro. At one time, they finally just came to me and says, "Mom, can we not have Velcro? Can we have
Aw.
regular shoelaces?"
That's
And I'm
when you
like,
grow up and you don't
"Oh."
want the Velcro shoes anymore.
It made me
want
sad. It
Velcro
made me
shoes.
sad and kind of like, sad mostly, but I'm like, oh, they're growing. And second of all, like, oh snap. Like I wasn't even caring about like the trends, like, Mom, we're kind of tired of wearing, Velcro and we're kind of too old for Velcro. I'm like, okay. So I put them in shoelace shoes. So yeah.
it's funny
They
because
finally stepped up into
my
shoes.
son rather have Velcro. Oh no, give him
See?
Velcro any day because he just goes. He's done. He's out the door.
I know. Well, because how old is he? Your son is what,
9,
8, 9?
9.
Yeah, believe me, when they're around teens or preteens, they're not gonna want Velcro anymore because it ain't cool anymore. It
It's
ain't
hard to
cool.
find them too. No, when they get
True.
older, like my middle kid loves Velcro shoes. That's
Yeah.
all he would get. I want the Velcros. I want the Velcros.
Oh my
But they
goodness.
stopped making them once you get a certain size in boys, and you can't
Yeah.
get them. So like he got all upset when we had to get regular laced shoes. You know.
Or they have the ones you can slip your foot in. That's not necessarily like Velcro or anything. They don't have, that you just slip your feet in.
Slip-ons. Yep,
They have
slip-ons.
some like the casual wear and the dress shoes, but not so many styles for kids. And they have them, but they're not.
They have them. They're oh my god, what's the name?
Vans has
My
them.
Bands. There you go.
Yep,
That's exactly what I was
Vans.
thinking of.
Vans. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Because it has
oldest.
like these little stretchy things on the side, so you just kind of
Yep.
like stick your foot in there.
But like for me, that was always a thing. Like when my kids were even young, I get them really nice shoes, like name brand shoes. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they want, but they tear them up so quick. Like my kids,
Exactly.
they tear them up. I mean, literally tear them up. They're boys, they're gonna be rough and do stuff, but like it's expensive. But it's like because I don't want them to go through like what I had to go through growing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just messed up. Anyways, moving on. I've gotten over it. That's
Yeah, get over it.
Get over it.
so the
Oh,
Reebok
snap.
pump. Okay, I remember when Nike Air first came out, right? Me and my sister decided to see if there's really air in there. We pierced it.
No.
We pierced mine, and air came out. We're like, oh snap! There's air in there. So the Nike Airs, not so much the pump. I don't think we ever did it on the pump, but on the Nike Air shoes, that little bubble and the
mischievous.
heel, there's actually air in there.
Oh,
Yes,
snap.
I've confirmed
But
it.
once you popped it, you couldn't wear it no more, right? Because
Yeah, then it gives. You're like, oh man, it was doing something. You don't realize what it was doing until you
you
take
gotta
it away.
pop the other one so that you don't
Yeah,
wear it.
pop the other one.
Then you're like,
And you're like, why did more air come out of this one? The tire pressure not the same.
Just imagine the shoe doing like a like sound of like the air coming out.
right?
But they were cool. Yeah, I like the Nike Air shoes. I have a pair of them in my closet somewhere. They still. I've had them for like 10 years. I mean, they still work. It's weird.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. He's hilarious.
I remember having the light up shoes too, where you would like hit them and
Oh.
Yeah,
they,
that
like,
was a
light up.
really big
All my
deal.
kids.
Like a couple
All
of
my
years
kids.
back, like
Mhm.
lights, and then the kids would break them. My kids would break them so
Well,
quick.
okay. Are we going to talk about Heelys? Because not only light ups,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Heelys.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's bring that up. I
All right.
Yeah.
My kid had one because they have some that are really well made and they have it's like a
Like the
gimmick. They give you a tire, right?
Just give
They
you.
just give you a tire. They're like, here you go. But like, there's ones that are like, they can
The
take
official Heelys.
the official ones,
Official
right?
Heelys, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're made
Right.
to last, and then there's the ones where they just give you a freaking tire. It's like I could do that with a rock. Thank you.
But couldn't you take the little skate part off the shoe and just made it a regular shoe?
Yeah, yeah, that was the whole point.
Oh,
It
Right.
had a little
I had no
crevice
idea.
on the heel part that you just
Oh.
take it out. And then you have a gap
Right.
there, I think, but still, it works just like a regular shoe.
Right.
What's the point of that? I mean, other than, if you're going to take them off, you're paying for the Heelys, you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the function, right, of rolling. But
Unless you like the style of the shoe.
So you could like roll.
yeah.
Roll
and-
it.
She's saying without the skate in it. Like, what was the point? You know?
Because
Well,
sometimes,
okay, and
you know,
then-
you get to work and you're like, get rid of the wheel.
But,
But
then,
then
they
where do you put the
started
wheel?
banning them. They started banning them in schools, in
Yeah.
elementary schools, and in all schools, right? Mostly elementary schools, because they
Accident
you know,
prone.
accidents. Yeah, kids
Yeah.
were
Right.
starting to fall and break their twist their ankles
They're
or
probably
break
having
their
like,
bones.
let's have, that's the new challenge. They're like, what's the name of it called again? Healy, right?
Yeah.
Heelys, yeah.
They're like, Healy race at noon. Cafeteria. And they set up the trash cans in a certain like racetrack. 1, 3, 2, 1, go, you know.
But they're not even very functional, right? Because like the wheel is on the wheel is
Right.
on.
You
Well, no,
skated, you skated with one like
you
this
only-
and one like this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
had one leg up that's not touching, and then one with the
Right.
wheel. So you kind of like
That's a little
you don't
weird.
go off both wheels. You know what I mean?
Like
You
give it a
use
running
one
start. Like you
like a
ran and
skateboard,
then you
right?
like,
You only use one foot to move the board,
right.
and then you
It's
put both on
Obvious
whenever
I
it gets
did not
speed.
have the
And
wheel.
I've seen kids that actually like will balance on one foot,
Yeah.
and you know, and
That's
and
how most
glide.
people
I'm
would
like, man,
would do it.
yeah, yeah.
I think I tried it once or twice.
Mm-mm.
That wasn't my thing. That's
I
like,
think I did it once or twice too, and I busted my butt. So
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me, for sure. But the light up ones were also a thing.
I think my oldest kid he could do it really well, but he
Oh,
would get in
really?
trouble.
Yeah.
So we're like, no more Heelys, sorry.
My son actually had light up ones not even that long ago. It was a couple of years ago, but it was like this new one that came out that you know those like strips now that people put under their TVs or
right.
so it was like a strip kind of like that but around the bottom of the shoe, and the tongue part you could click on the different colors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or you could make it flash, or it would stay on, and it had actually a little USB port, and you would attach that and put your shoes next to the wall and let them charge. Like he
oh
had
my God,
those,
trippy.
and then I would always think like, isn't that kind of dangerous? Like he's got like a battery like in his shoes. Like I don't know. I mean, I did see. I don't know if you guys seen this before, but somebody did have a little kid did have some light up shoes that caught on fire like in a car because they left it in the car or they left it in the key.
No. Oh my God.
Something like that. That it caught on fire and melted the rubber or something like that. From one of the light up shoes. Yeah.
It
Oh,
depends how many volts
no.
it is. If it's a high capacity battery, yeah.
Sweat.
But 5 volts, 9 volt even, I don't think it would do nothing. That's like,
Right.
But they won't last very long because even before before the USBs or the battery charged ones, and they were just regular light up shoes. After a certain time, they would go out and
yeah.
they were no longer light up shoes. They were just plain tennis shoes.
Well, if you had
Right.
boys, those shoes are already done anyways.
Exactly.
At that point.
Exactly.
They have a tidy warranty on them because they know. You know.
And it was like you wanted your kids to stay still, but yet you gave them those shoes. Now all they're gonna do is jump around because they want the lights to go off.
I hated it when
Still,
they
well,
would
you bought me the
glitch.
shoes.
No, when they wouldn't work for a long time and then all of a sudden they just light up. Like out of the blue. It's like, is it broken? Is it not broken? And they're like kicking stuff to try to make it light. Look. The 13th kick works. It's like,
Or one shoe works and the other one doesn't.
That's not good.
okay. Let's move on.
Okay,
Anyone have
I'm
anything else to say? Did anyone have Doc Martens?
No.
That was
Never.
a rebellious.
That was kind of grunge look.
Yeah, I knew this one girl in high school, and she's just like the rebel.
Oh no.
The rebel. She'd always with her Doc Martens, like polishing them at lunchtime.
Polish.
I just know you
never
gotta
had
like
them.
wear those things in because it's
Yeah.
really
Stiff,
Yeah, like-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they look stiff.
Mm-hmm. Never
Yeah,
had
but that
them.
was like a definite fashion thing in the 90s, Doc Martens. Okay, let's.
Were they mostly? Were they like? What was the purpose? Are they like?
work
Um,
boots.
It's a
Work
rebel
boots?
thing. It's a rebel thing. No,
No,
they're
no,
not.
but
They're
what
for
they-
fashion.
They were never ever work boots for anything.
I feel like maybe they were.
I feel like they were. They had to have been.
like it's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
could.
similar to the members only bomber jacket. Like it's military
Mhm.
inspired fashion.
The people at my work that would wear these, they were doing it for a fashion statement, but you couldn't tell that they were Doc Martens because they would have their pants always
Right.
over it, so it looks like a normal it looked like a normal shoe, not a boot per se.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
okay.
So-
On the flip side of this, they're not just the black Doc Martens, but even still the other kind of construction worker boots where they would be like beige, right? Beige.
Timberland.
Yeah.
Yes,
Timberland.
Yes,
Timberlands.
those two were making a huge trend, right? Or
Yeah.
they were a
They
huge
still
trend.
are. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
whole thing about Timberlands,
Mhm.
but
have
like
a girl that
I
I
don't
work
I
that
don't
wears
find
them.
those appealing myself, just because of the beige color. You know what I mean?
You
Right.
know, when I
It's-
first met my husband, that's what he wore all the time. The Timberlands. I'm like,
You know what it is
Okay.
to me?
For
Even if
everything.
you have small feet as a guy, it makes your feet look huge.
yeah.
The color. Like, even if I'm only, let's say my feet are 8 whatever, size 8 men's. You look huge. It's like, whoa, because of the
Yeah.
color and the material, it makes your feet look like you're
And I think that
Pinocchio.
they were like
wood.
tall. They're tall shoes.
True.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like
They had a heel on them. Yep,
it's
for
like
sure.
they look like sandals that they
Oh.
put into a boot
Into a boot.
that
Oh, God.
is
Okay.
beige color, like David Crockett. If David Crockett had his own shoes, Timberlands.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can go on.
Okay.
We've killed this too.
Okay, we
beat it
talked
to the
shoes to death. Okay, literally
Yes.
to death. This is definitely looking 80s, early 90s.
Oh, Madonna for sure, right?
Yep.
With her one earring, her cross earring was.
Okay,
her
so this
her-
is definitely my territory here. This is definitely my
Mhm,
territory. So we have the first picture. It's a picture of the Breakfast Club. You know, Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez. You know, the whole crew. Madonna in her. I have a cross as my earring, and she was the
Cheerio.
yeah. Oh, look at the accessories on her arm, and then she's wearing a white shirt, a white T-shirt with
Like
like
suspenders.
black suspenders. I think, but it's a dress. You know, she's very stylish. Like back then, and she still is. Like every so many years, she would just reinvent herself
Yep.
in a new style. And then the hat with the leather jacket and a dress. That's kind of like very unique 80s look. What I want to talk about though is on the bottom left, the jeans. Jeans back then, that was a huge deal. Like Levi's, there's some other brands, but Levi's just monopolized the U.S. market. They started doing something called stonewashing the jeans, where it has that look
Yep.
on that
Right.
picture on the bottom left, where it's like it's not brand new denim. It has that worn look, but it's evenly worn. And then they had one that went a step farther called acid wash, where it really is like bleached.
Acid wash. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I want to tell a story real fast though. So I had one of those Levi jean jackets as a kid, and I remember one time my sister used to like to acid wash her own stuff and really make it extreme. So somehow my jacket, my Levi jacket, was stonewashed. You know, it looked like kind of like the pictures there, and it got put on the washing machine in the garage, and my sister or somebody knocked over the bleach, and a little bit spilled. It spilled on my jacket, like right here where the pocket is, and right here, right. So when I washed it, it bleached that whole area, and it's like I didn't care. I'm like, I'm gonna wear it anyways. But then other kids in school, they saw that and they started doing theirs, that same spot. It was weird. It was weird, right?
Trendsetter. you.
Trend
Look at
setting,
you.
even in junior high. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Wow.
That is funny.
That is hilarious.
But it was nothing but a mistake, but I didn't care. You know, I'm going to wear it. That's like,
That reminds me of Mean Girls when they like cut the girls like shirt and then everybody's wearing the same thing, like within minutes.
Right? Oh my goodness. Okay, the bottom left, going on what you were saying earlier, is not only with the jeans, but look at the penny loafers and the socks. Okay.
yes.
The
Oh,
penny
yeah.
loafers
The
and the
penny
socks.
loafers and the socks. Look at the socks. It's coordinated with her belt. Look at that.
I know.
Right? Am I right? And the girl on the
like
left,
Miles
her
Davis.
socks
Yeah.
coordinating with her shirt.
With
Yep.
her shirt. That's right.
And then the
That's
girl on the
true.
right, look at her stockings and her shoes match. That's freaking
They got it.
incredible.
Hilarious.
Did you guys ever wear jean skirts?
Yes.
I did. Not very
Only
well,
once.
but I
Only
wore 'em.
once. It was a dare, and I never welched.
I remember in
But-
school you had to have them a certain length if you wore them. Like you could wear them, but it had to be like your fingertips or like whatever they couldn't pass or something like that.
How do you feel about the denim skirt with the denim jacket ensemble?
That was,
I like it. I like
was a
it.
thing. I
It
wore
was a
that.
thing back then,
Mhm.
yeah.
I wore that.
If it had
I
more of
couldn't
a
wear it with
two-tone, like a
stockings,
little bit of
though.
leather on the actual jean jacket, it would make it a little bit. It would look better, but
Okay.
that was the style though. Jean jacket,
Yep.
jeans,
Denim
and
on
sometimes you
denim.
can have a little slightly darker jeans, but as long as they're the basic colors or close.
True that.
Yeah.
And then the high-waisted jeans. Look at the high-waisted jeans plus the big belts for women,
The
right?
mom-
I mean, that was a thing. Now, I had a huge belt that like overlapped. It was kind of like a Michael Jackson look, you know, where it overlapped, had this like
Cute.
triangular look, and then it didn't even have a function of like holding up anything in your pants or your dress. Nothing. It was just a
And-
a
It's
fashion
an
piece.
accessory.
Yeah, it was just an accessory.
So jeans have been around for a long time, but like there was no taper, relaxed fit. It was straight legged. You know what I mean? Just
Straight
like you
leg,
see in the
for
pictures
sure.
there. It was straight leg. It wasn't until maybe the 90s, mid 90s, that they started having relaxed fit, which
Yep.
I didn't really dig it because as you wear denim, it wears anyways, you know, and it gets more
Right.
it gets to be comfortable. You don't need to have one that is exaggerated, comfortable, relaxed, baggy because it
Right.
naturally does that anyways as you wear it.
Well,
That is if you like wearing it, you know. If you never wear it, that's
and if you
different.
don't ever wash it, it of course it relaxes. But
Yeah.
Right.
you know, yeah.
Well,
But
you know,
I
everybody
always-
has like those.
I always
Sorry, go ahead,
loved.
Johnny.
I'm sorry. I just want to say I always loved the look as you keep your jeans and you wear them and you wear them. They get this certain like feel to them. There's
Right.
nothing like you cannot reproduce that. It's just with age. You know, they actually get very very comfortable with age. It's great, but
That's
you
what I was
can't.
gonna
You
say.
can't.
Everybody
make
has their
that.
own pair,
Yeah.
Yeah.
their own favorite pair that like.
And they get
Of
to a point where they
jeans,
just
yeah.
look so awesome. Like the stone washing, the acid washing can't match how they look when they're naturally worn, washed so many times, and they have a uniform look to them. You can. It's pretty. It's hard to explain.
Well,
Right.
okay, and then to that point, the jeans then were made a little bit more with a lot of heavy material, right?
Yeah.
Not so
Yeah.
much today, because
Yeah,
now
true.
for women, especially women, I'm primarily talking about women, is that we have the stretch jeans, right, or the stretchy jeans, or the mom jeans, or no, right, the pregnancy jeans, or
The
the legging
jeggings.
jeggings, right? Those drive me. Well, okay, I'm a big proponent of. I love them. But they drive me crazy in terms of the material because if you have thicker thighs, for instance, or you walk, they rub, right? Not only do your legs rub, but they also deteriorate around that area. That drives me insane.
They get holes super quick.
Holes really quick, really
Yeah.
quick. So compared to jeans from way back when, back in the 80s and 90s, where they were more durable, right, made with heavier material. The material nowadays with jeggings and jeans and stretchable jeans drive me crazy because they don't last long, especially if you're one that wears repeatedly. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, and even still to preserve some of the coloring in jeans, I would wash it inside out, just because I want to preserve the color and the texture of.
I remember
of
some
jeans.
jeans would turn like if you wore like let's say white shoes or something and you wore the jeans and then when you went to take them off you'd have blue on your
Yes. Yeah,
on your
right.
yes. And I don't remember that being like that back in the day. Like I only remember that being like recent, you know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
something I don't know if it has to do with the dyes that they use now or
I think so. Yeah, more so now. Yeah.
Did any of you used to use the shrink to fit, where you gotta like look at the table and figure out what oversized one you need because it's gonna shrink to this size, and then you gotta
Oh.
like wash it a couple times, and then it's kind of
Oh,
the
that's
Levi's had the
That's
shrink to
Levi's.
fit. They had the shrink to fit denim.
Levi's was the worst because they had They're oh gosh, unless you absolutely knew your size 30 by whatever, by what.
Yeah,
No.
you had it,
I'm
and it was a
sorry.
range. So like it may not fit, it may fit. You know,
Drove me crazy.
it's almost like TV dinners. It's like cook your own food. You know, but they were cool. But like I preferred the ones that were already to size.
Yes.
You know.
Already sized to you. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I had to go shop in the petite section for me all the time. I can't shop in the regular section because, I did that once and I ended up like when I thought I could sew. When I thought I could sew, I would cut the bottom and then like hem it up. Wrong
Right.
thing to do. Nope. Wrong thing to do with jeans.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I was, yeah. Anyways, so that was a
I
thing.
have to ask something. The middle picture there, that's kind of like the blossom hat. Did any of you
Oh yeah.
girls have a blossom hat like that or something similar?
I didn't.
I don't recall the hat, but I do remember the jacket on the right, the lady with the shoulders.
With the shoulder pads.
Yes,
Shoulder
the
pad.
shoulder pads. I had those. I
guy.
definitely had those, and the skirts, the flare skirts.
Oof.
Yep.
That's
That was
Mhm.
the thing. Funny.
Yep.
Good memories. Good memories. Good memories. All right, Johnny, are you frozen?
No.
Oh,
Want to move to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have to get through a video, by the way, y'all. So,
A video. What are you talking about? A video.
a video. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot to unpack there.
Wow.
is.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Okay, the second picture, I don't know anyone. I think I dated some girl that wore pants like today. She wears pants like that.
Parachute pants. Those are called parachute pants.
Yeah, but those patterns are ugly. I didn't want to tell her like
I love it.
I didn't want to tell her like those are the ugliest pattern I ever seen.
Weren't the ones that when you walk they kind of like they make
Yes.
noise?
Yes. Oh my God.
It's
the
like-
neon and
Windbreaker
Velvet.
material.
Yes. the
Yeah, it's
windbreaker
that weird material.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I like it. They look so comfy.
Well, they had a cargo pants look, but they were also tapered toward the ankle, but they were also made out of, material, quote unquote, they were made out of the same kind of material that parachutes were kind of made from, I guess. That's why they were called
It's
parachute pants.
synthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super noisy. You could hear somebody walk a mile away, just like in Neon in Valorant.
They still
I
make
could hear
those
them.
too.
I
They
could hear
still
them.
make
They
Yes.
these.
do. They
Yeah,
do.
in the
Oh
ugliest
my
patterns
God.
possible. You name it.
Mhm.
That's like
Yeah,
Very
because
much
like
so.
now it's like leggings are kind of in that style
yeah.
of like the
Yeah.
weird, loud pattern.
I like the windbreaker stuff, but I don't like those pants. It's like
The windbreaker right
I
there on
want
the
a
bottom
full
right
outfit.
is, super loud as well.
Mm.
Okay, I remember days. Okay, so I used to go shopping with my aunt. We used to go downtown LA, and she loved shopping there. And sometimes she would just take me and buy stuff for me. And I remember telling her that I wanted a choker necklace, and I wanted
yes.
fingerless gloves. When am I ever gonna wear fingerless gloves? And she bought it for me, so I was like, okay.
Aww.
Yeah, so I literally bought those almost same gloves, like the lace gloves that Madonna wears, and
It's cute.
I don't ever remember wearing them anywhere. Period.
But
So
it's
I
just
was like,
nice to say that you have it,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was really cool.
A pair of those, but I only wear it for Halloween.
I always wonder what kind of material is it made out of? Because if you go
It's
like
lace.
that, that's it. It's just is
So
it
it's like
durable?
a stretchy. It's a stretchy lace.
Okay, so it's a stretch. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you think of the picture, second row picture on the left? Those kind of pants.
Well,
Is that Michael Jackson?
looking pant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the Beat It, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Beat It pants with
Michael
zippers.
Jackson pants, yes.
I mean, that kind of came back in like the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I think
It never
too.
went away, but it was preserved for the gimps, the gimp look,
I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know what that is. What is that?
like Pulp Fiction, the gimp. They get him out of the
Hmm.
thing with a leash,
Oh.
Mhm, mhm.
You're like, what are you talking about?
I didn't know. I'm like, I had no idea there was a name for it.
Well, the all black leather is like a sex
Yep.
thing,
Oh, well,
That's-
for sure.
That,
The
that's part of
domination.
fashion. Yeah.
Yeah,
part of
domination,
It is.
fashion, nada. There you go.
Again, we are not
Hilarious.
experts.
Yes, we
Now,
are
we're not
totally
experts.
not
I'm just saying that it did make a comeback, but it's never went anywhere. It went somewhere dark. It went somewhere very
Check
dark.
ID over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
then
mean,
those leotards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, those were a thing when I used to teach LA Fitness long time ago. I used to teach what they call cardio funk at the time, and it was a lot of the 90s, 80s, 90s-ish dance moves. And yes, we used to wear that. Oh my gosh.
I have a question. I
I
always
was
wondered
so
about this.
embarrassed.
Maybe you can answer it for me, Annie. How do you put it on? Is it multiple pieces or like it looks always like the legs and the torso
you would
part
put
are
the leggings,
different
you
material.
put the leggings on first, and then you put the leotard, the body piece over.
You still wore underwear though, didn't you?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
you should. I hope so.
No, you didn't, because you would put the leggings on first, just like you're wearing, I
Do the
don't
leggings
know,
come up
yoga
to your
pants.
waist or how
Yeah,
how
they
tall?
would come all the way up to your waist, just
Okay.
like it's almost like wearing pantyhose, but literally the
Oh.
leggings will come all the way up because they have elastic, they have to cling somewhere, so they would cling to your waist. You put them all the way up to your waist, and then you would step into leotards and pull them up, like a tank top. So that's how you wore the legging, or that's how you wore this outfit.
Yeah.
It looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
It
like the
was.
look.
It
I
became
like
that
the
way.
look, but it just looks like whoever's in
He
it
likes
just
the look.
like hating life. It's like a workout just to put it on,
Well, believe me. And let me just tell you that if you bought a small pair of leotards, or the body piece part, it showed. It showed, because
bet.
I mean, whether you wanted the thong or not, that's what you got. So yeah, it was quite interesting.
high cut bikini line. That was
Right.
Right. It was
Mm.
quite the fashion then.
You had to be thin for that, cause
Yeah, now I'm looking at it going, my goodness, that was quite embarrassing. And then I taught a class, so can you imagine people behind me watching? So I was like, oh, snap.
are those brown pants corduroy?
Yeah, that's corduroy. I had some pants like that back in the 80s. I'd say late 80s. That it's still around, but I just remember
Yeah.
the most about it. It had like a texture that would wear pretty quickly, especially being
Wasn't that
boys.
something you wore more like in the winter?
It's just weird because like it feels like the ones I used to have, they have like, you ever drive on a street and it's like you could feel the lines on the
Yeah.
pavement?
Yes.
That's how
yes.
corduroy it is. You can literally look at the lines going down your leg.
Oh.
But it had a really cool like consistency of texture. That's not like jeans.
Right.
Keeps you warm.
They also
but
made
it
noise when
wears.
you walked.
Yeah, they wear quite a bit. They were pretty.
They made
fast.
like this swishy noise, like you could hear it because
Yeah.
of the specific lines, because of the texture. It
I feel
was
like I'm
Right.
wearing corduroy right now.
Yeah.
it drove me crazy. Yeah, very much so.
But I like
was the
them.
thing.
I like them. Once I got into jeans, I didn't look back. But they're, yeah, I liked them when I did used to wear them. So.
Interesting. Now the gal on the right. Now I don't remember ever owning a dress like that, but I do
Okay.
remember some girls wearing it, like for dances and for,
Yes.
I think for proms mostly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
or like
Yeah,
bridesmaids.
that's like junior high
or
prom.
homecomings or something, or yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
tell how authentic that picture is, though. Like it also gives me kind of Party City. Like
It
It could
doesn't
have
look
been a
like a real
costume,
dress.
yeah.
To me, it looks like wrapping paper. If you get enough of it, you could just, right? Like the fancy wrapping paper. Just like get the purple, get the blue. There you go. Go to the dance.
Foil. From foil.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could. Yeah. The windbreaker. I love windbreakers. I still love windbreakers. It's hard to find them, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
Matching pants for that.
yeah.
That'd be great.
But yeah, good luck matching that. Or I got an orange sherbet windbreaker. I need pants that will authenticate. Maybe orange.
I'm not
Lime.
gonna lie, I actually had a pair of windbreaker, like a whole warm-up suit similar to that,
Yes.
but in like in dark blue, white, and magenta. So 3-tone color. So with
Three tone is
matching
good though.
pants.
It's like
Yeah.
5-tone, 4-tone
Yeah, this
that
one's
are
1,
really
2,
bright
3,
like
4,
that. That's like
5. Yeah.
Yeah, the sweatsuit kind of evolves. Like you got like the tracksuit,
Mm-hmm.
then you also have this kind of windbreaker. I don't know,
Right.
Right.
pants.
Tracksuit with the same matching pants with the windbreakers material. Yeah.
Weren't they like windbreakers that were like warm on the inside, but then there were
Yes.
some that weren't, that were just thin, just like the outside,
Yeah.
right? It was like both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. And they had one that had the hoodie that you would fold up,
Yeah.
and it had like a
Oh,
zipper
zips
or
up.
whatever.
In your collar.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the windbreaker. It stops the wind from going through you, but it's like having a mini tent because you put out the hat and you're like, and then it has a little thing
And then
you
you
pull,
pull it, yeah, you
then
pull the thing.
and then you just have your face
And all you
like,
had it was just your face like
Yeah.
this.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my God. True that. The funny part, what you said, my piece, when you would roll up the hoodie, put it in your
yeah, good
collar.
luck rolling it up. You gotta do it just right, or there's this big bulge behind you. You know, it's like you feel it every time you turn your neck. You feel the bulge. You're like, I gotta fold it right.
True. True. Oh my
Okay, let's go to
goodness.
the next one. Next one.
Okay.
Oh, the big hair fashion, the
Yes.
mullet, the big hair.
Oh no, there you go.
That is the 80s,
Paula Abdul.
early 90s.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Love it.
Look at that mullet. Is
I
that
did
the
my
mullet,
bangs
right?
like
Look at
that.
It's like a
So
raven landed on his head.
so that's my question. Is like what kind of bangs would you have to be able to do that kind of shfoof?
Had it.
For
So I remember
You comb your hair
it-
down, and then you group the hair up, and then you put it in that gold scrunchie. You talking about a
I
Paula Abdul?
remember
Or just in general, like
I remember cutting the bangs pretty far so that you would have enough. And then you would take half the bangs and stick them up to go to the side with lots of hairspray. We would grab it and like go like this and grab it and comb it and keep and teasing it and
Yeah.
making it. And then the rest of the bangs you would kind of like just comb it like gently or whatever. But you'd have like that big little like mountain thing. I don't know even know what that was called that we would put up. But that was like a thing. Like even I remember going to Puerto Rico in the summertime and all my cousins had it. And so like I was like, I want my bangs like that. And like my aunt would come and like tease it and style it for me and then you would walk out like this because you don't want nothing to mess it up. And like, it's all like nice and stiff.
So, Riz, were you talking about the second picture, the one in the middle?
yeah,
How they get the hair like that? Yeah,
In general,
that's-
like we have another
A lot of
slide.
teasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had hair like that. I actually had hair like that. So okay, part of it was a trend that Farrah Fawcett created long time ago before the 80s. It's in the 70s. She had the feathered look. She used to actually
That's true.
she used to do a style where she would curl outwardly, kind of like what we do now, but not so curly. But she would feather it out this way,
Yeah.
but then she would tease it to give it more volume. So we did that. We took that same style in the 80s. We gave a little bit more bangs to our front, right? And then we would, like Wifey says, we would tease it to a point where we had enough volume at the top and then spray it like crazy. So Aqua Net was my
Aquanet.
friend.
Aquanet,
Oh, yeah.
Was my friend back then for sure. And
Yep.
then of course the long look back here. I do have a picture of me back then that I forgot to give you guys because I was so busy this week. But yeah, that definitely was a look for me. And if you saw it, you'd be like, Illusions was saying, I want to see pictures of y'all throwback styles. I do have one. So maybe if I find it, I'll share it with you guys and I'll put it, in Discord somewhere for you guys to see. But I do have a picture like that. But yeah, that's how we would do it. Is we would borrow that style from Farrah Fawcett and just kind of, in the 80s we just did more teasing, right? So more teasing up at the top.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
The only
So-
other thing too is like the texture of your hair. Like if you have like it's kind of easier to do that if it's like thinner or like
And
finer
shorter, a little bit shorter too. Yeah.
Then like it's lighter to tease and like
Right.
revolve you. But like sometimes you get to the point where you tease a lot, like it's heavy and it doesn't
Right.
stay.
Mhm. I remember cutting it that way. Like they would cut it that specific way so that you could
Yeah.
have those bangs. You know what I mean?
The cut of the hair is what
Right. Thin it out. If you had too much hair, thin it out so that you could, have that bang look or whatever. Because if you had way too much hair, I mean, your bang would be like enormous.
Yeah. I will say the bun on the bottom, the benders, I have that. They sell that still. It's like 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 a it's like a bendy like foam
Oh,
stick.
yeah, yeah. I remember those too.
Twist your hair into it and bend it and twist it, and then so it's like heatless
Mhm.
curls.
Right.
Is it painful? It looks kind of painful, even though she's
You
smiling.
know, it is a little bit.
Yeah.
You just kind of smile through the pain. It's not I mean, like you could, depending on your hair, you could like try to sleep with it on, but it's not very.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable. I don't know. We're always trying. Women are always trying to like come up with some way to curl their hair without using heat and stuff.
Right.
So
Heat's
That's
bad.
it.
That's why.
And
That
not
middle
spending a lot
one,
of time in the morning either. Kind of
that
thing.
middle one was like a palm tree. We used to call it little palm trees. You would do like
Oh,
half
yeah.
your hair,
Right.
half
Oh,
up,
yeah,
half
yeah.
down, and then you would like pull it like this, and then you'd have that little like palm tree looking or
Mhm.
fountain. I don't know.
And the scrunchie made the difference, right? Because you know how you'd put it in a fountain style, and the scrunchie would be like the fashion.
Right.
Besides the fountain droopy,
Right. The
hair
more you
type.
put, yeah, the more you, the more you put like scrunchies or whatnot, the bigger or the
True.
taller it was.
Right. Oh my gosh, hilarious!
What do you think of the guy on the upper right? Look at
That's a
that.
John Stamos look. I'm telling you, that was John Stamos and the Mike.
What do you call that?
Miami
Is
Vice
that
look.
is that called the
It's like a bird. Like
Yeah, this is a
bird.
little more alternative to me.
Yeah, that's a
bit more
little.
extreme.
What
Yeah.
was it called though? There was a name for it. Like I
I-
know Billy Ray Cyrus, John Stamos. They had that kind of haircut. It's the mullet,
There's
right? The
the
mullet. It's the mullet.
Mullet. Yeah.
Mullet.
It's a type
Like
of
this is
mullet,
like an
but,
exaggerated mullet,
Right.
but yeah,
spiky mullet, maybe.
the
Mullet
more
kind of-
mainstream one
Uh-huh.
was like the John Stamos version.
Right.
Yeah.
John Stamos made it more popular, I think. Right? Because people wanted to be more like him. I want to be like John. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave it more
But
texture.
that was
more
the
volume.
years of big hair. Big hair.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Big
Lord.
hair.
Big hair.
Yeah.
Big hair, big dreams. The big 80s.
Hilarious.
Oh, so like Annie said, for special features, check our Discord channel
Yeah.
later.
We can post
I
some.
will,
I have
I
some
will
to
post
post
at least one picture of me in the 80s. Just
Oh yeah. I'll create a channel for it just for you guys so that but be sure to, if you're not already following.
and
Carol,
if
be
you're
sure.
if you're not following Annie's Discord, follow it. And then we'd love to see your pictures too. So if you have any
Yes.
90s
Yeah.
pics, 80s pics, even before if your generation is 70s, we'd love to see your pics. So
That'd be
We'll
awesome.
create a
Yeah.
channel just for you guys, so that we can share some of our photos, when we find them.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so big hair, that was definitely a thing in the 80s.
Still,
Let's move on to the next
still a
one.
thing.
Oh, we got more big hair. No, I can identify with everything here. So, like I said, for me, my go-to product in the 90s was LA Look Sports Gel. And that's
Yeah.
it right there, a picture of it.
Same.
They had Extreme, they had like Mega Hold, they had like Concrete, they had like these different versions of them. But
Yep.
the thing I loved about it was that you put it on, style your hair, let it sit, and it would hold pretty much all day long. But like
Yeah.
you go to school, you deal with school, you come back, and then it's starting to wane. But it would wash out really easy. It didn't feel like hairspray where it's like
Kinda
blending with
greasy.
your hair. It just felt like it washed away easily. That's why I preferred the gel. I like the mousse, but like I would just put a little bit of mousse,
Right.
like on the parts I wanted to hold. I didn't. Sometimes you don't want to hold your whole hairstyle. You just want to hold the front or the top
Yeah.
or whatever. Mousse is good for
Yeah.
that kind of thing, but the gel lasts all day long. That was my LA Looks was the go-to product that I would use. There it is,
It's
right there.
amazing.
There it is.
Amazing how.
Because now
much
I'm
it held.
thinking of like, so this is like the 80s and it's kind of the bigger hair. The 70s for male hairstyles was kind of still big, a little bit.
It didn't go high though. It went low. It's like the
Okay, yeah,
shaggy
right.
look. Everything's drooping.
Right.
It's
And
like
then-
I'm too hippie to care. That kind of
For
attitude.
sure.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
like
sure.
I don't care. You don't like my hair's not trimmed. My hair's not this. I don't care. I have a beard. I have lamb chops. Deal with it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where the 80s, it was like we want bigger, better things. I think that's
Right.
what it kind of. Look at Billy Idol, Duran Duran on the bottom right. Like big hair, styled hair, but it's big. You know, it comes at you.
And then the top left, when Will Smith and other artists came out with the flat top,
Yes.
right? That
Yeah.
was a huge thing too. He definitely, Will Smith definitely was a trendsetter when it came to that look. And then Kid and Play also capitalized on it. Remember
yeah.
when Kid
Oh,
and Play?
yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher Reed has super high hair.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So
There we
Kid and
go.
Play is Christopher Reed, and then the other guy Christopher's Play. So just so you know, just put it out there.
And Play. Mm-hmm.
John Stamos.
John Stamos.
But
Uncle
yeah,
Jesse.
so the second picture there, that is Billy Ray Cyrus, and that's John Stamos. Who wore it better, do you think?
Billy Ray Cyrus is Miley Cyrus's dad, if you don't already
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
It's got to be John Stamos.
So if you
for
know
me.
Miley
I'd
Cyrus,
say John
that is her dad
Stamos.
on the left. That is her
Yes.
dad. Yeah.
John Stamos was definitely wore it better.
Yes. And he
Yeah.
always is worried about it. How his hair
I
look.
had pictures of him all over my room. He was everywhere. I loved him. He was my idol. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
He was gonna be my husband.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
I know it's kind of Elvis-y also, right? Like, wasn't that his character? Like,
Yeah, he was always
Yeah.
about Elvis
So it's a
Yeah,
little.
he.
It's
Mhm.
the mullet, but also like the.
with a little, just a
yeah.
couple piece of hair right here.
Yep. He had that tribute to Elvis in the front. Yep.
Yeah,
The greaser look, kind of, right?
it went with him though. Like I don't think he would have done better with a short haircut or something. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's because we're used to him that way, but he
That
could
was
pull it
the
off.
vibe.
Like it just, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It looked really well, on him.
Because
Totally.
even like Bob Saget's hair was like a
Right.
kinda down version of that too. All of
Yeah.
them. Other
Yeah.
guy too. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uncle Joey even had that mullet look.
Right.
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Okay, so what do you think of Duran Duran, the band in the middle and the bottom? I see a
Well-
lot of makeup. Like they weren't afraid to like dress up,
Express
like,
themselves.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Yeah.
and you can just tell the bottom picture on the bottom. Look at the styling of the hair. Like you know that had a lot of product in it. Like that
Oh, for sure.
multiple products to like just
How would I-
hold.
He has like
Mhm.
some blonde
Hold.
highlights.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
tips.
highlights,
Oh yeah.
the way it
frosted
holds
tips.
its
Okay.
form. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Have
inspiration
mercy.
from Justin Timberlake. And then he has like the military inspired jacket.
Yeah.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was
this-
also a thing.
This aesthetic, like it's very still now. Like I could see a band dressed like this
Right.
Yeah.
now and have an album and
Mhm.
everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
True that. True. All right. We can move on.
Okay.
I think we still have a few more slides to get through, and then probably the video too, and then some fun facts too.
But it's Billy
Yeah.
Idol, Annie. That's Billy
I
Idol.
know. Well, Billy Idol was his own
Not
trend. He was his.
Nobody
own
talks to
thing.
Billy Idol that way. That's my favorite line from The Wedding Singer.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. There's that jean jacket I was talking about. The
Yeah, that's still
Levi's
stylish now.
jean jacket.
Yep.
And there's
Saved by the
Saved by
Bell.
the Bell
Yep.
in the many
very-
fashionable knit sweaters of Zach Morris there.
Very like Cosby Show.
I'd
very,
wear
like,
any of those
bougie.
sweaters. Those sweaters are dope, especially
They
now.
are.
You know how hard it is to get any of those sweaters? I
Totally.
probably had a
Gotta go to the
sweater
thrift
similar
store.
to the one on the bottom left. Like the white, the
You gotta go to the
beige,
thrift store and like really look and find it.
Oh, thrift store. Yep.
And it's like oversized fit, right? Like it's
Yeah, it's
don't know.
made to like
Yeah.
Right.
to like
Yeah.
the bottom part, you'd kind of like roll it. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and then you would roll up the sleeves too, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
You roll up the sleeves and you do your little.
Yeah. Still
Yeah.
very,
That was a thing.
very today.
But the
I think I
Levi's
had a
jean
poster
jacket.
of Zach Morris.
The Levi's jean jacket, I
Aw.
definitely had one of those that I loved. It was awesome.
Yeah, my dad had one of those too. When I was growing up, I used to see him wear that all the time. I liked my LA Gear jacket. Hi, Angie Dance. How are you? Yeah, my dad used to. When I was a kid, that was like in the. Well, anyways, I used to see my dad wear that all the time. So
So did LA Gear make clothes? Because I wasn't aware of that. Like,
I
I'd
think
assume
so.
because I think
Right?
that's what Angie Dance says, that she
Yeah,
had an LA Gear
saw that.
jacket.
that's
I don't remember.
Yeah, those are the brands that like have always been around and are they're kind of more affordable, but now they're like trendy. Like Champion
Right.
is one that's like
Right.
that's like trendy now. Whereas like that's a brand that's I don't know, that's like the default sweatshirt. But now
Ah.
it's
that's probably what I'm wearing here.
Champion. yeah.
With the logo on the back. Oh my goodness. And then of course the overall, right? The one with the one side off.
Yes.
I never quite understood that. What was the reasoning for that?
I don't know.
It's
For
sexual, Annie. It's like one's off. Check it out. One's off.
And then you walk and the other part hits you in the
Whoa.
butt every time
I
you walk.
know, for real.
Or you turn and you smack someone with it. You know.
Exactly.
right?
It became a weapon.
There's metal on the end. I think it was,
You know, I never owned a pair of them, so I really can't say. I know I have friends that did, but it wasn't something I would want to wear. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
right.
if I worked in construction or something, yeah, maybe, but not just for. Nah.
Again, a lot of these that came from the work industry that came over to just more, mainstream fashion.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
we got to talk about the Simons Says sweater there.
That's-
Am I right? That's what it is, right? Look at it.
Kind of Star
So-
Trek to me.
Let me guess. Your name is Simon, right? Your husband's name is Simon, right? He
Let
bought
me
you that
guess.
shirt.
Yeah.
I like that. It would be
It's a
nice.
I know. I like it. I know people that have that. Okay, it's a very. But I don't think they realize that Simon Says basically, or Power
Right.
Rangers. Sorry,
How funny.
or Power Rangers. Is that Power Rangers?
Primary colors. Yep. That's it.
That's very. What's the brand that would do like primary colors, like Benetton or Esprit?
Esprit.
remember that?
Yes, I remember them.
Polo.
Benetton
Polo
for
love
sure.
to have
Polo?
green. I have a
No,
like a
polo-
polo shirt. No, when I say
Polo
polo, I
was-
mean the actual company Polo.
Okay. Well, they also had
Ralph
like
Lauren's
pastels
polo.
too. They had pastels, polo colors.
Right.
So, I have to sneeze. Hold on.
The thing though with the sweaters, like, I'm a warm person, so like, I don't like it's too hot for me. I don't. know.
Right.
But it's cute.
Okay, we can move on.
I think it's the patterns. If it has a really cool pattern, and there's some sweaters that are the material's not as thick,
Yes,
You know?
that's true.
and it breathes more. That's the kind of like really myself
Alright.
that I would wear back then.
Ew.
Oh goodness.
Okay, here we go. We got more big hair,
Yep.
high hair, and we got Janet Jackson.
I think Janet Jackson is definitely like a style icon
Yeah.
from
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
these 90s.
Yep.
I have to show you a picture. Hold on. See this clip here, right here? This, I don't know if you guys can see this. clip.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this clip I used to wear all the time, and I would put it in such a way here in the front, and then bring it forward, kind of like how Candace right there is wearing her hair. I
like
would use this clip
the
and bring it
back?
all the way forward, and then
Yeah.
create like this little.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I gotta flip back here. It's an illusion, y'all.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
that's how I would wear my hair with this clip.
It's like, don't
to
look
create-
behind me. Don't
to
you look
create
behind
My
you.
hair.
this
My hair
thing.
does
Yeah,
not
yeah,
have a-
yeah.
I had this kind of clip, which is I don't know if this is something that you guys used to wear, like these.
Yeah,
Yeah, alligator clip, right?
yeah.
Which ones?
So that's called.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have those too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of clips I use sometimes in my hair.
I
Yeah.
used to call them the hair, the
The
salon
banana clip.
salon clips, because they were the ones that they used on your little bib or your as they're moving your hair and partitioning it. Kind of, yeah.
You know
Oh
what
my
I saw
goodness.
too the other day that I saw is coming back now, and even my sister was wearing them, and I'm like, oh my god, I wore that in high school, where it was like a zigzag thing, and you would
Yes.
put it on, and you'd put it on your neck first, and then you would
Is it a
lift it up
headband?
and stick it on into your hair, and it would make like
Oh yeah,
little.
yeah, true. And it would make like this. Yeah, it would give you. It's a headband, and it would just
Very
separate
spiky.
your hair, spike your hair in such a way. Yes, I hated those.
That's
I
back
never,
now.
I could never get them to work.
I believe
It is back now.
Never.
The girls in high school are starting to wear them again.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
I saw
like
my
a little
sister just
clasp
bought a
on the
pack.
Mm.
What?
It had like a clasp on the back.
Yeah, it had like a little clip on the back. Right.
Ooh, I can't stand those. And then Anstan said the banana clip. Yes. I used to put my head forward like this with the banana clip in the back and then bring it all the way to the top like this to create like that cascading, ponytail look in the back of your hair. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yep.
The banana clip was the thing.
Okay,
For
we,
sure.
we have to talk about the jelly bracelets. That was a thing definitely when I was in
Mhm.
elementary school. Like you would get
Yep.
multiple ones and interlock them to make it longer and longer.
Oh,
and, you
yeah.
know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
You could fit 3 or 4 of them like by, and you were
Wasn't
you had to
there-
know how to do the interlocking of them.
Wasn't there supposed to be like a meaning to like certain colors or something?
No, just you
Okay, maybe
you-
that was.
like
Black
you give
was
them to
always,
your
like,
friends
gangster.
and then they like let's say 3 friends give you one. You make a bracelet out of that that represents your 3 friends. Who I don't know what it meant.
Hmm.
It was just a thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently or last year I went to an event and they have it where it's like if you wear you pick a green jelly bracelet, then you're comfortable mingling with people. Yellow would mean like you're okay mingling but with social distance, or like red would mean like you don't want to mingle with people.
Oh, really?
Or like I've heard that for like parties, like a stoplight party. Like green means you're single and ready to mingle. Yellow means you're, and then red is like you're not.
You're
I
taken.
don't know why you're at the party, but you're at the party.
I don't know why you're at the party.
That's like when
Oh, goodness.
oh, this is not different from children. But I just remember hearing that growing up, where it's like this one means something, and if you give it to somebody, then that means that you want to give something to them.
Oh,
Oh, snap.
It's like I gave
okay.
you a purple one. What do you mean?
It's like the hibiscus flower in your hair. If it's on your right, you're
something right.
single. If it's on your left, you're married.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now here's the choker that I was telling you guys earlier. But I used to have my aunt. I had her buy me a choker and then the fingerless lace gloves. That was
Right.
the thing.
Was it
I
the
remember
80s?
having. Huh?
Because I mean, I remember those being really cool when I was a kid. So that would have been 90s, 2000s.
Yep,
Also,
I remember.
Yeah, like 90s definitely. I think it was a
Okay.
thing.
It's
I
just
remember
like,
having charms like that, but on my book bag.
Oh, nice, interesting.
Like a keychain type thing with tons and tons and tons of charms.
oh,
When
yeah,
I see
yeah,
the choker though, I think of that movie Orphan. You ever see the movie Orphan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What?
she does wear one.
So she always wears a choker.
yeah. And it's like a
because-
ribbon.
Yeah, it's a ribbon. And
Yeah,
the reason
black
why she
ribbon.
wears it is she's not a little girl. She's like an adult woman, a 34-year-old woman. And she
The little
has
girl's
she tried to
body.
hang herself multiple times, so she wears it that she can pose as a 9-year-old or 10-year-old girl or whatever.
I
Right.
remember there was like a book or a story, and it's similar to that, where like the woman she has a ribbon on her neck, and the guy like marries her, and he's like, "What's with the ribbon?" She's like, "I can't tell you." And then at the end, like she died.
Oh,
He takes the ribbon off, and then like her head falls off. or something.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
But yeah, these are the spooky.
That's one
spooky-
strong ribbon.
It was tape.
It
There's
was
that kind-
electrical tape.
There's that kind of choker that's like the stretchy kind of, what is it, like
Like
plasticky,
plasticky, right?
Yeah, yeah.
woven thing. But then there was like the one that's just like a ribbon,
Right.
Right.
that's like
Like satin.
yeah.
Mhm.
That came back also. I feel like that came back in like 5 years ago when they had a
Oh
bunch
my
of.
goodness.
Yeah, they still do. They still have chokers out there.
I still have it.
Yep.
I wear it.
I think they're kind of sexy, honestly. No.
It's cute.
Yeah,
It's
They can
kind of
be.
it's classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know what it is about it. It's just yeah.
Okay.
I think it only works if it's black, though. If it were any other color, it'd be weird. It'd be like, what is that?
Yeah, if it's
Chokers to
brown,
me-
it's like
Right. Chokers to
It's
me, I mean, I feel
silver.
like it's always been black.
yeah, it's got a black or it can have accents, but black. Just-
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
What's
Has to
the
be
one
black.
on the left underneath Janet Jackson?
That's like
Hi, Summer.
it's
Charm
like
bracelet.
Charm bracelet, right?
Oh, okay.
Those are the fancy ones. The jelly
I
bracelet
was
aren't
saying-
crap. This is
Charm
this is
That's what I
when
was
you
saying, I
really
had that.
when you're a real friend, you get the charm bracelet. Charm
Friendship.
for every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
lot.
what I said. I had something similar to that, but mine was a keychain thing that had a bunch of charms just like it, all different colors and.
That's a good idea, so you
whatnot,
won't
but it
lose
was
your
in my
keys.
backpack.
You won't lose your
So you
keys.
won't lose your keys. Yeah.
Right. I had it on my backpack, I remember, and every time you walked around, you just heard.
Like, swings around,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the same thing, but instead of it being charms, it's those things for climbing mountains, that you hammer into
Carabiner.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
also see on the end of the carabiners, I always see hand sanitizers now.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Carabiner hand sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember too that they had the charm bracelets, but it's like metal. Oh, sorry.
Right.
And then
Oh yeah.
there was the kind that's like they're like rectangles, and you could take out the rectangle and clip on something to it. I don't know. Or was it like Juicy Couture that had like charms, like metal charms that you could
Right.
put in a bracelet?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it's like that. It's like that one, but like
But silver.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And they have that now too with Pandora.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh right. All the silver, mostly silver, right?
Right.
And with and then charms
It
with
is
like
expensive.
specks of color.
Like one little charm's like
I
$100 or whatever. Like it's ridiculous.
I'm
It's
I had
pretty,
that.
but
Mm-hmm. I had that on my wish list, and after I saw how much it was, I took it off. Like, no, it's too expensive. I wouldn't.
it
want
is. It
anybody-
is expensive.
Wouldn't want anybody to get it from me.
the
But
other,
keep it
then
going,
you-
Johnny.
Okay,
the
moving
only
on.
other one that I remember is the Tiffany
Oh, Tiffany and Co.
like-
Oh,
art.
Yeah. It's like a dog chain almost. Like
That was
yeah, that was definitely. And I had the bracelet too. I still have a pair like that my husband gave me.
nice.
Nope.
that was
Hmm
ish.
Oh, look at those pink pants.
I love it.
Huh.
So
Bell bottoms.
So on the bottom, this is a movie poster for this short film called Cherry, and it's set in the Bay Area in like I want to say the 90s, 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like there's like regional style distinctions. Like this guy's wearing like a windbreaker jacket, kind of like what we had we were talking about. He also has the puka shell
Oh,
necklace.
puka shells.
That was the ish with like kind of
Yes.
like fade haircut. Yeah, I don't know. That's just an iconic part of
Right.
90s. And then you also have the In Living Color
Mhm.
cast and the Fly Girls. Look at that. I love that.
I
Yeah.
remember during one school picture, I don't know what possessed me, but I frizzed my hair out. Don't ask me why, because it was already naturally frizzed. I frizzed my hair out, I wore puka shells, and I wore my brother's winged colored shirt.
Yes.
I thought I was cool. Oh my gosh,
Love
was
it.
I sorely wrong?
I don't know what are puka shells. What is that?
Puka shells are from Hawaii. They're little tiny
Yeah.
shells, little tiny shells strung through. So they're all white. It's all white,
They look
and they're
like
like
little discs or like
Mhm.
little squares.
Your hair or on your
no,
and the
no,
necklace?
they're
The-
shells.
It's
They're
the
ocean
necklace.
shells. They're like shells from the ocean. They're tiny little shells. Sorry, tiny little shells, and they're used fish wire
Oh,
to
okay,
string them.
okay.
Fish wire, and
I know what
then
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And the
what he.
clasp was like twisty like that.
Right.
Yes. Oh God.
Oh, I
What he's wearing,
see.
it's kind of hidden, but
Puka
Yeah,
means
yeah, yeah, yeah,
holes.
yeah.
Puka
I know
means
what you,
holes in Hawaii.
I
So
think we were
they're
talking
like
about
holes.
shells in your hair.
oh
No.
no, and the hair would be the hair wraps.
Yeah.
So the first picture there on the left, that's La Tigra. That was real popular in the late 80s, early 90s. It's like a polo shirt with a little tiger icon. That's how you know
try
it's
to wear a-
authentic
wear a polo
La
style shirt.
Tigra. They're actually pretty expensive, even
Is it
now.
La Tigra or
Yeah.
lacrosse?
That's La Tigra, I'm pretty sure. That I can't. My eyesight's
Or
crap.
Lacoste.
Probably
Lacoste.
both or
Lacoste.
Lacoste.
That's
Is
what
it?
it was. I like lacrosse.
Hold on. let me see.
Lacoste.
That's
No.
another one. Yeah.
Lacoste. Yeah, that's
Lacoste.
What
it.
is
Yeah.
Lacoste? Like, seriously.
That's
With
the
the
alligator.
tiger, with the alligator
It's an
tiger.
alligator.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What, is it a tiger or alligator? I don't.
Oh, it's a tiger.
It's a tiger.
No, it was an alligator.
It's an alligator, right?
Alligator.
It's
I
a
was like thinking
tiger.
of all kinds of things.
It looks like okay.
Alligator.
My eyesight's not what's what it used to be, but that's clearly a tiger. Right?
A
And
tiger.
I forgot what kind of pants those are called, but they're definitely like the
Harem pants.
what are they called?
Parachute pants.
Harem.
Parachute
Kind of like
pants.
parachute, but then they're also like leggings, right? Where you would put it under your foot.
Oh,
into
Those
your
are the
shoe, but then-
ugliest things
Those
I've
are
ever
the stirrup
seen. Okay,
pants.
those are just.
Stirrup pants, yes,
Stirrup.
yes.
Stirrup.
Lacoste stuff is so
It's-
comfortable.
Because it's
Yes,
kind of
solutions.
it's kind of like the workout wear stuff that we were looking at before, where like
Right.
the stirrup will go so that when you're wearing your shoes, it keeps the pants.
Right.
down.
In your shoe.
Yes.
And yeah, so it doesn't ride up. Yeah. That
Yes.
was the whole
There you
purpose of that, which was really weird because, again, if you don't have the best fit, you're pulling your pants up all the time.
Yes.
Like Princess Jasmine would like her pants back, please. Right?
For real.
It
For
looks
real. And then of course the denim skirt at the top. I don't think I've only owned one pair of denim skirts. Or one pair of denim skirt. What? Yeah. I hated it and never wore it after that.
Did you guys have skirts? It's like skirts,
Yes.
and it had the front that was a skirt.
Yes. And then when
Yep.
they were longer, they were called gauchos. Women. We called them gauchos, but they were longer. But if they were shorter, like what you saw there, they were called skirts. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. Fashion and function.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Those bell bottoms, man. Look at that. Look at that.
Dang,
It
that's
looks like a
huge
boat
bell
sail.
bottoms.
I'm telling you, you couldn't show your shoes. It was a
I
thing.
know.
And then the back would get all like worn out and like dirty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
And then
Yeah.
all the trash and you gotta like trim
Yes.
it every
It's
so
like you're
often.
sweeping the floor.
Yeah, it's like you're the street sweeper.
You know what I remember doing? Getting the bell bottoms, and if like the back started getting worn out, then I would take one of those little things that you would use to undo like the seams, and I would make the bottom all like
Fan it out like a mop.
little strings. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a mop.
They're called oh my
Just-
gosh, they're stressed.
Yeah, distressed.
Yeah.
But it would be a bunch of little strings
Right.
on all over the whole thing, all the way
Fringes, you
around.
create little fringes and
Right.
It's called a mop.
Stress pants.
A mop.
No, it's called a mop.
Well, whenever the back would start to do that on its own, then to make it
Then
look
you would do
even
it-
and
yeah.
not look bad, like I would do that. I would take my pants and I would
Got it.
start undoing all the little seams and making them look like little fringes like that at the bottom.
Yeah.
Then it was like,
Sense.
no, I got a new pair. You know, now it looks new.
People will actually take a brand new pair of jeans that are in perfect condition and stress them, right?
Yeah.
Stress them, tear them and stress them and create fringes now. I'm like,
Right.
why would you do that? It's like, no, no, no. Unless they come that way, because if you do it wrong, then you're ass out, basically.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
Just can't get over that. It's just oh.
Those bell bottom pants, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'll do like the straight leg kind of.
Yeah, straight
I'll
legs
even do
fine.
bootleg, but not that. Not bell
Yeah,
bottom
that's-
anymore. Not like
Okay.
that.
Okay,
Alright, we
moving
can
on.
move
Let's get the next one.
Yeah.
That was the last one, guys.
Oh, hey!
That
wow,
was
we
the
did that in
last one. We went through our whole
nice
image collage.
Awesome.
All
We
right.
did it.
What do we have up next? I think we have a video, but then can we?
Yeah, we are going to do right now fun facts with wifey.
Yay! All right.
Here we go.
All right. Let me see. Let me pull this up for you. I have it on my phone.
Okay.
Alrighty.
While you do that,
So-
I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Let's see. Let's get this out of here. All right. So basically, some of the fun facts that I found were mainly about the 80s and the 90s. There are a few 2000s as well. Let's see. In the 90s, square-toed shoes, slip dresses, bike shorts, baguette bags, which I don't know what that one was, tiny sunglasses
Yeah.
are just a few of the 80s and 90s fashion trends that made triumphant return in the recent seasons. So a lot of that stuff now is coming back. It says, if you think you're innovative for rocking the claw hair clip, which is what we were talking about, loose braided pieces in front of your face, or thick socks with sneakers and leggings, it says, sorry to tell you, but your mom probably did it first and might still have some of her old goodies on hand.
True.
So a lot of those obviously came from even, before 80s and 90s and whatnot. It says, if you dig a little deeper through the archive of celebrity looks, runway moments, and your own personal style memories, there are plenty of old school rivals that are ripe for comeback. From close-fitting tailored vests to stirrup pants,
Ah.
leather fisherman sandals, chunky gold pearl earrings. Certain vintage looks have yet been resurrected to the modern mainstream, but totally should, and most likely will soon enough. So obviously there's stuff that, may come back later on that we don't know of, Also, Princess Diana was one of the first in the 80s as a trendsetter to put on bike shorts.
Oh.
So it was like the leggings, but the short ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're like a sweatshirt.
I had those with actual cushions on the butt. For real.
It says the athletic shorts made an unexpected return a few summers ago, and they've remained a wardrobe staple ever since. So, you still see those everywhere. Let me scroll down.
We call them capris now. Just
Right?
Breeze.
The puff sleeve blouses that we talked about were one of the must-have silhouettes of the 80s, according to Princess Diana and actors like Melanie Griffith. And I guess there was the movie called The Working Girl. Is one of the ones where they had a lot of those poofy sleeve blouses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see if I keep going. And then it's funny because in this article that I'm looking at, it will show me like the puff sleeves like back in the day, and if I scroll down, it'll tell me where I can buy them right now. Like some of the stores that sell the
Cool.
exact same styles. I don't know if y'all be able to see. Probably not. Well, maybe a little bit. No,
No.
I can't see it. Anyway, it'll show me like some of the styles that have come back now that you could actually order if you wanted to.
Nice.
What else? Let me see. Some of the celebrities back then used to use slip dresses on the red carpet in the 90s, like Halle Berry. It says that they used to wear the slip dresses, and would wear it was considered like an everyday style, and what they would wear was like a denim jacket for daytime look, or they would take it off for nighttime look.
Yep.
Nice,
The
interesting.
spaghetti strap.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like a little spaghetti strap, and it was just like a very like almost nightgowny like
Yeah.
dress. You know what I mean?
That's yeah.
Again, it's so funny that you can literally buy that now too. Like they have them.
It's
We talked about
weird.
we talked about the Spice Girl platform shoes. This was definitely in the 90s platform craze. Emma Bunton, which is aka Baby Spice, wore a pair of white platform heels in the music video on the Top of the World in 1998. And now a bunch of different brands bring back that same funky style. Again, I can literally scroll through, and it's crazy because one of the pairs of shoes that I'm looking at that literally is just like the Spice Girls costs $1,040
What the
for the pair. Yeah.
heck?
Inflation.
Let's go to Payless.
Also, right now, it's the sweater vests. That was in the 90s. The knits worn by everyone from Tina Turner to Brooke Shields. And it says that there's a lot of celebrities that right now are wearing them again. So that's also something that has come back.
Sweater vest. Yeah, I've seen videos of people like they'll take the sweater vest from like the children's place, like toddler child sweater vest, and they'll sell it on like Depop, like those fashion reselling. So,
Mhm.
Oh, mm-hmm.
but so like girls will wear it, but it's literally designed for like child, little kid, but they're sweater vest.
Right. The claw clips that we were talking about, Annie, that you wear as well, it says it's worn by Michelle Pfeiffer back in the day on One Fine Day to Rachel Green in Friends.
Yep.
Wore as an accessory back in the 90s. Over the past year, the model set including Kendall Jenner now wears them.
Oh no.
So that's also something that have come back are those claw clips. And again, they show me that I can buy a claw clip for $54.
Oh,
The heck?
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, dollar
You can
store.
keep it. Keep your $54. I can buy them for 99 cents at the 99
Yeah, that's what's so
Right?
weird. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of these styles kind of again like come from like urban or like sometimes it's expensive, but it's also like people had like hand bleaching or doing whatever to their
Yeah,
jackets.
they'll
Yeah,
find a
it-
way. You know what I mean? They will
They
create.
gentrified it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting.
And then if I go back, I just want to read this real quick. Actually, I have it here on my screen. So for hair, one of the things that I found was big hair, of course, and perms. Perms,
Yeah.
perms with the big curls or the tight curls. Like that was a big thing. For
Yeah.
the pants wise in the 80s, they called it lycra. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The spandex.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was really big in the 80s. It says both men and women, girls, boys, it didn't matter. Spandex was like the thing, the material, the trend.
Yeah.
We talked about the jeans. They talk about ripped jeans. It said that whether you bought them that way or cut them yourself, every pair of jeans had the knees torn out. And it said, and grandma hated it. Lacy shirts was a big thing in the 80s. Frills on frills.
I almost wore
We
a
talked
lacy
about
shirt.
leg warmers. Let's see what else. The high-waisted jeans, neon colors, mullets,
Yep.
side ponytails, cut-off sweatshirts.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Crop top.
Yep. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I found.
Nice.
Awesome.
fashion, yeah.
Thanks. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Wifey.
Sharing, wifey.